Previously on AFTN.
My son wakes up in the middle of the night, screaming, yelling, run into his room. I'm like, Kirk, buddy, what's wrong? He's like, I just had a nightmare. Breck Shea was standing in front of an open goal.
Yeah, I wonder how many times he woke up during the night. Probably none. Things don't really faze him, so he forgets about football when he's away from the
Just
park.
bought himself another hat.
Well, hello again, and welcome to another episode of There's Still Time, the AFTN Soccer Show, broadcasting on CiTR radio from the unceded Musqueam territory at the University of beautiful British Columbia. If you're watching or if you're listening to this show on the podcast,
If you're watching it,
if you're watching,
I'm feeling creeped out right now.
I feel violated. But if you're listening to this show on the podcast, this is episode 269. Giggy. I'm Michael McCall.
I'm Steve Pander.
And I'm Zachariah Meisenhammer.
I've just come from watching Jimmy Carr. Doing a live show now after being at Jimmy Carr for an hour and a half, or an hour and 45 minutes because he overran.
I'm frightened.
Anything could happen tonight.
Steve and I are just going to heckle you all night.
Awesome. I've got some great put-downs. But we're here for a fun-filled 2+ hours. We'll just keep going until we get too tired. Chatting about Whitecaps and Dallas, lots of MLS chat. Have a whole section talking about Canadian PL news because it's been a very busy week for that, and a lot more beside. But as always, we will kick things off chatting about the Whitecaps. Third 2-2 draw in 3 games. We only draw 2-2 is the chant I'm expecting from Curva or Southside.
Yeah.
Deuces were wild. 3 matches in 9 days. 3 points taken. Simply not good enough, especially when 2 of them are at home against teams that are below you in the standings. But yet, should we feel happy because of the nature of how we got that 3rd point in Dallas, coming back from 2 goals down? Or should we feel angst because that was 3 performances that, just simply were not good enough?
Like we were just talking a moment ago, Michael, before the show started, I think the 3 games prior to this one, it felt like the chances created, the performance, if you will, on the pitch should have resulted in 3 points on each occasion, as opposed to 2 points from those 3 games. This game, the point felt like it was a bit fortunate. Like Dallas probably should have taken all 3.
Yeah, I mean, if we'd won against, say, San Jose on Wednesday, and then lost against Dallas, I'd have felt in a better mood.
Yeah.
We would have been a point better off.
By math, yes.
Mm-hmm. Vancouver Armada posted a question on Twitter, because there's a lot of talk, and we did it in our match report, about fighting back, coming from the 2 goals down. But did they show fight, or was it simply luck?
I don't... Well, are you talking about, first of all, you were talking about the Dallas game, right? First of all? Okay.
Just the Dallas game.
So, first of all, for the first goal, the end of it was luck, but there was a lot of fight in that run that Blondell made to the end line. Because he was being bumped off by Matt Hedges. Like, seriously, like, kind of off.
I do feel he lost a little bit of control, though, and it took the ball to the byline.
But he was under pressure from Hedges.
Yeah.
It wasn't an easy thing. So he was fighting for that. And then he tried. If Figueroa hadn't got that, there was Kamara in the box and Teixeira in the box. Now, I don't know if it would have got to them, but they were definitely in the box ready to pounce.
It felt like Tony was appealing for something hopeful to happen in the middle of the box.
I think it was lucky, but we maybe did deserve a little bit of luck because we haven't been getting breaks or we haven't been taking our chances, which is something that we'll look up when we're analysing a lot of the Whitecaps' woes, which is just a phrase that we're having to use every week now when we get to part 2.
I think to answer your question from Vancouver Armada, you can see it both ways because there was some fight back. I think yes.
Yeah, because it's down to nothing. They could easily just sunk their heads and been done with it and just gone home.
But you also have to look at it as like Dallas, in one sense, gifted them 2 goals.
Yeah,
like the what you just talked about, the own goal, obviously, but the equalizer was shockingly poor keeping.
Yes, it was.
But if you talk about luck there, then they were also got unlucky that first goal by Kamara that we'll talk about later was taken away because that should have been a goal, I think.
I think so too. We maybe haven't seen a definitive angle on that. Marks out of 10 then for the Caps' performance in Dallas.
I would say, because it's a road game, I would say give it a 7.
Oh, I was going to say maybe 6.5.
I was thinking 4 to 6. I'm torn.
Oh, well, that's a really big range.
Either just above average or just below average.
I'm saying for the road result in Dallas. Remember, previous to last year, they hadn't got anything.
Result, I'll go with a 6.
Yeah.
If we're going on how they played for a lot of the game, I'm going to go with a 4.
Yeah, for the result, I could go as high as
maybe
a 7.
that was the way they wanted to play. Now we'll get to rankings later. But there was a question concerning this. On its own, are you satisfied with the result in Dallas? Just over 70% said yes. Points on the road are worth their weight in gold wherever they come by, and just under 30% said no. After the drop points at home, they need all the wins they can get. So
that is the thing. We have dropped so many points at home, which is another thing we'll look at in part 2. The first half in Dallas, not a lot to write home about from either team, really. I mean, Dallas looked probably the more dangerous or the more likely to score. We had some half chances.
But then, boom.
Yeah.
The Whitecaps were beaten by a former Whitecap, Joe Cannon.
Yeah. I mean...
No, what's it, Joe Cannon?
He's done well.
Yeah, Reggie Cannon.
It was Reggie, okay.
The player who comes...
I saw Cannon when I was looking at the score because I watched the game afterwards. And I was like, Cannon?
No. What I was going to say is it's nice to see... Like, one of the things Dallas is known for is playing their younger players.
Yes. 19-year-old, homegrown.
Yeah.
Now, the question, obviously, you always want to assign blame to a goal when it's given up, especially like that.
You
now,
do, Steve.
Personally, I got 3 candidates for you.
Oh.
I
just have one. So
no, the obvious one.
In America, usually there's only 2.
No, but the obvious one is Brett Levi's. Because the fact that he was mine.
He was pulled into the middle.
He got pulled in the middle. He just swung his foot, didn't get it. The other one is Breck, because Cannon is a fullback. Breck Shea is supposed to be on that side covering the fullback's runs. Now that's number 2. Mm-hmm. Number 3, it was a free kick that was quick. And should somebody have been over the ball to make sure it didn't go off very quick? They kind of shut off at that point.
I think
those guys
call those free quicks from now on.
Yeah, free quicks there.
Yeah.
So, I know Brett Levi's is the obvious, but is there some blame to be assigned to those other 2? Because we didn't get a good view because whoever was doing the broadcast there just like let it go and they were watching something else while something else was going on too.
I have to say though, when it went in, I didn't see any way back even at that point. Even at 1-0, I was like, Mr. Pessimist, had my pessimist hat on. It's got a big P on it. Mm.
If the goal felt a little deja vu to Lima's goal.
Yes.
For San Jose.
Yeah.
Maybe Vela's goal.
We're giving up I didn't have a chance to look at this. I meant to, but we are giving up a lot of goals from the edge of the box this season. Or at least it feels that we are. And then when you're doing that, you're kind of thinking about the guys tracking back and not tracking the guys back.
So little Breck Shea?
Yeah.
Also the shot stopping, maybe?
Pile on the Labrador.
No, but I think also you got to look at it. Like you said, it was a quick free kick. Almost said it again. But usually you have somebody just standing in front, willing to take that yellow card if the guy kicks it at them. Yep. Nobody did it this time, and they just stood around, and it was...
Felipe would have been the kind of guy to do that,
yeah.
But I think he'd already picked up his yellow card.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Dallas started the second half strong, but game fell into a bit of a lull. There didn't feel like any real urgency from the Caps to get into it. And the commentators alluded to... Well, one of the questions that they posed to each other was, do you think the Caps will now just go for the attack? And it's like, nah, they're not going to do that till later. there wasn't any real urgency. It's like they felt, no, this game plan can work. We still just have to have this defence-minded thing, soak up the pressure. You kind of always feel that things won't change. They won't change the shape soon enough or switch to an attacking style till later in the match.
What you're saying makes it sounds like deja vu to Seattle away in the Cup last year.
Yeah, we could call this episode deja vu. I think I'm going to go with never say die, but DAI for the Welsh
That makes sense.
connection. Dallas, though, well, actually, before we get to Dallas, Kamara had a goal ruled out. 56th minute, I think it was.
Yeah, somewhere there.
Seemed very little in it to me when I was watching it. Afterwards, Robbo said he'd been told that Kamara had been holding keeper Jimmy Maurer's hands.
But that was not
or
possible
arms.
because they were moving together and kind of connecting.
I thought it was more that he'd maybe jumped into him, but I didn't see enough.
I feel like the keeper jumped into Kamara more than Kamara
I thought they would have
jumped into him.
reviewed it, but the whistle, I think, had blown before it was in the back of the net, so technically it
can't be
wasn't a
reviewed.
goal.
Yeah.
Which is why aren't they supposed to
Let it go.
you let it go a little bit so you can?
Let it go.
Yeah,
Let it go. I thought the Caps would be frozen out by that point, but no. Blundell,
From Brian Rowe.
yeah, very long kick forward. I like my Route 1 football. In, on goal, should have done better in the 72nd minute, I felt. That's what a top striker does. He gets on the end of that, but buries it, or at least gets a shot on goal.
But again, he was hassled quite a bit.
He was closed down quickly, but
Do you think if he had gone down a little bit, do you think there would have been a call for penalty there, or do you think no, not enough there to?
Probably not enough.
Okay.
But then I felt Dallas had killed the game off 12 minutes from time. Maxi Urruti, guy that's done it against the Caps so many times for Portland and Dallas.
And that was Blundell's turnover too. There was a poor pass and it wasn't that much in the middle of the park, but it was just on the edge of it on Dallas's side.
Yeah, the game felt like it was over. Like, you're right.
Oh yeah, totally. But it wasn't. That fighting lucky spirit, the fighting Irish, luck of the Irish. I don't know which one of the two it was.
The fight of the Irish, the luck of the Irish.
Yeah.
Joe Deasy.
Need Joe here tonight to get through all our Irish stuff. Own goal, Figueroa. Good work from Blundell. I do feel he overran the ball a little bit. First road goal in 262 minutes. Figueroa, though, I mean, it felt to me that Blundell, as you mentioned or alluded to, cut it back just in the hope that something might happen.
It was like
Which is a good strike. He
was just pleading for someone to get on the end
but
of
there
it.
were two people, which is not that wouldn't happen normally. Kamara and Teixeira actually were in the box in prime position if that had gotten through.
That's the fight back that's what we're talking about.
But I mean, Figueroa, bad defending.
I think he just tried to block it so he would go back on the end line.
Yeah.
I don't know if what else he could have done.
I mean, even with that, I didn't really fancy our chances of getting a second. Deep into 8 minutes into the 7 minutes of time added on.
Well, it's because it was very hot, and they did the
Hydration break.
Hydration break in both halves, right?
Yeah.
I think the first half was it 9?
30-minute mark they did it.
Yeah, but how much time was added on? Do you remember?
The first half?
Was it
Can't
first
remember.
half?
Yeah,
5 minutes.
only 5, right?
I was watching it with my wife, and I was saying to her, "Oh, this is one of my favourite things is about to happen. The clock on the screen is going to go from 99 to 100." I like those simple things.
Yeah.
And then it got to 99.57, and then they cut away for a replay, and I never got to see it change to 100. It's the little things that make me happy,
It didn't happen
and
for
my
you
wife as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, late penalty drama. Definitely a penalty. Jimmy Maurer straight through on Blundell. Hit him kind of in the face and the throat. At first I thought it was
clothesline. I thought it wasn't closesline?
No, it was more kind of like just doing the visuals here for radio, which is good.
He gets punished for that. But really, it's the howler before that when he goes up to get the ball, where he misses it, it bounced, and then it gets headed or put back way up into the air.
Yeah.
Then he has to challenge for a
Was there a
second time.
foul on Maurer though from AHA? That's what Dallas
I
were
don't
claiming.
think so. No, I don't think so. Not based
His
on.
hands were up and arms were kind of flailing.
All Texans Breck aside, we're calling for that to be a foul, but no.
No, I think that was the same thing where Aja and the keeper met each other, and I think Aja had better position, and that's why the foul wasn't called.
In one sense, I feel like maybe the keeper felt like, hey, I got fouled in that one.
Yeah,
I can go a little bit I can go a little bit firmer, stronger.
I think he maybe was looking for the foul, and I think the Whitecaps really were physical on him for most of the game, bumping into him quite a bit. Maybe he just got tired of it, and then when he went after Blundell, he just lost it.
Well, I'm with Caldwell doing the commentating. Goalkeepers do get too much protection. I like when they're bowled over, and like in the good old days. But Kai Kamara steps up, does what your $1 million man you're wanting him to do.
That was an awful penalty.
Yeah.
Yes,
An awful
that would have been the fine line moment of the match if you missed that.
The short run up, the putting it at the perfect height.
Oh,
and
the height was perfect for a
he's
keeper.
lucky that this dodgy keeper couldn't get enough on it to keep it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Latest stoppage time goal in MLS history by 1 second.
Have you seen some of the tweets?
No.
Oh, you haven't seen the
I
tweets?
saw Kai Kamara's tweet.
Yes.
Yeah, we saw. We're going to talk about it.
Oh, okay. It's hilarious.
Well, let's just come to that now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, he was some Dallas till I die guy. Put something out about, Kamara spent so much time on the ground.
Yeah.
My daughter was like yelling at him and stuff. His 13-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
And Kai Kamara just responded.
And he tagged Kai in there
Yeah.
so that he would see it.
And Kai just responded, was she one of the 13 folk that I heard shouting at me?
No. He said, but can she score a penalty in the 100th minute with 13 people booing?
It was a very poor crowd.
Well,
I know it was hot.
The end sides were just completely
They
empty.
probably left to beat the traffic, not
Possibly.
expecting the Whitecaps to get anything back. But
Yeah.
stealing a point, you have to say. Do you feel they deserve that? I don't in the slightest. But they did deserve more from the previous two games, so I'm fine with it.
I have no problem with the way they earned it because it is a road game. That's the way I expect
Yeah,
them to
I
play
don't
the
care
road.
if we deserve it or not,
Yeah.
but we did steal it.
It feels a little bit on the game as a whole. Yeah, you feel like Dallas should have got 3 points, but
I don't think Dallas ran him off the pitch though. I don't
think Dallas ran them off the pitch.
Yeah.
They got 2 goals from 1 shot on goal.
Dallas were poor.
Yeah.
And the only shot on goal was a penalty that
Penalty
went
in the 100th
at the
minute.
keeper.
That's
When
the
at the
thing.
100th
We
minute.
scored 2 goals with 1 shot on goal. That is the efficiency that the front office are looking for.
I think there was a party at the FO this week to celebrate.
What's the shooting percentage on that game then?
200%. Jimmy Maurer, the Dallas keeper, said afterwards it was a hit in the mouth for his team, which was quite ironic considering how he gave away the equalising goal. Yeah. But that's some of our thoughts on the game. We'll play you the audio now. Just a little bit from Oscar Pareja because so much of his post-game was in Spanish. Questions to him in Spanish and answers in Spanish. So I plucked out the English bits and then a little bit as well from Robo.
He's the gaffer. You can try it on with him. He's the gaffer. Even when he's on a limb. He's the gaffer. When his back's against the wall. Has the answer to it all. He's the gaffer.
Well, with the frustration of the end of the game, the analysis get hard, especially because we still have our head scrambled with what just happened. So I'm gonna try to be the most accurate and objective on the analysis. I thought it was a hard day for both teams where we couldn't find the rhythm in the first half or second half. I thought it was patches where we look good and we create some actions, but not with the frequency that we normally have. And them waiting for us and for a mistake or something. I thought it was at the end when they start just putting numbers out front. But we can complain about the chances we create. I mean, the team scored 2 good goals. We have chances to score a couple more with the goal open that we will decide the game, and then we end up with that end. That was very heartbroken for our players, and I hope that we all learn from that and keep going. You know, the first goal, something that we could have controlled more. The first goal that we gave away, naiveness for us. We gotta get over that. We gotta get that better. The second goal, you all saw it after 8 minutes, adding, and also what it just makes me more difficult to digest is that prior to that ball, it was an offside that I already saw that it wasn't. It was called. So that's what that it makes me more frustrated, and we'll see. We will talk with the result, and we will keep moving forward.
Yeah, it was very eventful, especially towards the end. You know, we've got to focus on our performance, and we're 2-0 down away in a very difficult place in warm weather against a really good team, and we managed to claw our way back. So lots of positives, a gutsy performance. I think we got what we deserved in the end, if I'm being totally honest, but we did make it difficult for ourselves.
A solid opening 45, but it must have been disappointing to give a goal away in the 40th.
Yeah, when you switch off at any level, football teams can hurt you, and obviously we know they got good players, and one moment of lapse of concentration, and they managed to score a goal, and I think we were fairly comfortable in the first half, but we had to regroup at half time, and then we went for another little push after the water break, and within 2 minutes we give away a second goal, but we didn't go under, we didn't give in, we kept believing, we kept passing the ball, and obviously we got the reward.
Everyone made a difference today. The subs came in, made a difference. Just what was your thoughts on Anthony's play coming in the second half there?
He was excellent. The guys in the locker room, mentioned him specifically because when you're a sub, it's easy to sulk or be disappointed that you don't start the game, but subs are there to come on and make a difference, and he certainly did that. I think he should have scored earlier. He got a chance where the ball dropped for him and he took too long to hit the ball, but he never gave in. He worked the offside line, he got him run the back, he created the own goal. And obviously the penalty decision was on him as well. So lots of positives. And the thing that pleased me most, we've had 3 very difficult games in a week. And coming to a place like this, we knew it was going to be against the odds, really. But the belief in that locker room is fantastic. And we've got to keep believing. We'll have a few days rest and we'll prepare for our next home game.
What does it say about the character of the lads, having 3 games now where they've gone down and come back and got some points out of the games?
Yeah, unbelievable character the group have got. I don't want us to be behind. That's the thing that we've got a lot of work to do on, because I think we're getting punished for every little mistake that we make. The first goal that the right back scored was deja vu. In the last 2 games, I think we've conceded 2 or 3 goals like that, so we're going to have to work at that. We have to get up to the ball on the edge of the box. But those are little details from the defensive standpoint. So if we can tidy up that, continue to believe with the spirit that group has got, then we're a match for anyone on our day.
Do you have any explanation given on Kai's goal that was called back?
He said he was holding the goalkeeper's arm, so I'm not sure. I haven't actually seen it. I'll have a look at it. I hope he has held his arm, because as far as I was aware, it was a good goal. And if it is, then obviously the goals will get reviewed by the VAR. So I'll have to look at it myself before I make comment on it.
He's the gaffer. You can't try it on with him. He's the gaffer. Even when he's on a limb. He's the gaffer. When his back's against the wall, has the answers to it all. He's the gaffer.
The gaffers there talking about the drama in Dallas. More drama than when JAR was shocked. Going back a little bit, I think a lot of our student listeners will probably have no idea what I'm talking about. I didn't think Dallas looked that great. They didn't look great shape, but a lot of lethargy, I guess, both teams. Do you put that down to the heat? Do we just make teams look bad because of our playing style? Well, obviously not KC, but other teams? It wasn't a classic game.
No.
Dallas, like I said, Dallas didn't do anything special. They allowed Vancouver to stay in it. They made I think they took Diaz off at one point and put a DM in that.
Nothing.
But they took. He was an attacker. They took him off, and they just went really conservative, and that they kind of allowed Vancouver to get back.
I mean, I'm joking. Do we make good teams look bad? But to be serious about stuff, maybe we nailed our game plan. We made them look bad because our game plan was spot on.
I think when you take the game out of the context of all the stuff that's been going on recently, yeah, a point on the road is a positive thing. I don't think this point on the road and the performance does anything to change anyone's perspective on where they're at right
Probably
now.
not. And there was a poll question, which we'll just come to before the break here.
Yeah, so I asked people, rank the 2-2 results that we've had from best to worst. And 72% say FC Dallas is
the best result.
Best 2-2 result.
Because it was away from home.
Away from home, exactly.
Yeah.
And then
It was a game we expected to lose.
18% had San Jose, and then 9% had Houston. So I think
I would say that would be the order I would go with.
Because San Jose, I think they felt like there was more chances, and they should have put that game away.
There was, and
Yeah.
we will come to that in part 2, and we will be back with part 2 after this.
Hi, I'm Carl Robinson. You're listening to the AFTN podcast.
Oh, Dallas, shine with an evil light.
Oh, Dallas. You're listening to the AFTN Soccer Show on CiTR Radio. Our last show tonight, I believe, Zach. I was running some of the Jimmy Carr jokes by the guys that I was hoping to use in the later parts, and yeah.
If it was 11 o'clock, different story maybe.
So we will go past 11. So you're saying I can do that then?
If you want to go for once we sign off, sure.
Yes.
We'll come back on. And we'll
Yeah.
say the Jimmy Carr
we'll do
hour.
Michael tells Jimmy Carr jokes.
Michael retells, yeah.
Okay.
That way it saves you from editing too.
Very true, yes.
Which you're gonna have to do.
Right. We're not going to talk too much more about the Dallas game, but we do want to talk a little bit about some of the players' performances out of this, and then we'll talk about some stuff coming out of the last 3 matches. So we'll start things off with our favourite bit, the player rankings, baby. If you like that song, they're coming to play in Vancouver, I think in November at the Vogue, the Beat.
That's good. Do you want, because I did too, we didn't obviously have the other one because Joe guys, they recorded right after the game.
Yes.
Do you want the San Jose one first?
Yeah, let's do San
So
Jose.
I'll do it really quickly. We did the bottom 3, obviously taking out the subs. You got Jose Aja at number 3, the bottom. And then second from the bottom is Brian Rowe. And then third from the bottom is Efrain Juarez. The top 5, you got in 5th place Felipe, 4th place Kai Kamara, 3rd place Marcel de Jong, 2 Christian CiTR, and 1 with the tying goal, Jordi Reyna. I think it was his best game.
He had a nice setup on the opening goal as well.
Yeah, goal and assist. Is the Peruvian back?
Marcel got a lot of praise for that game too in terms of his.
Yeah, he won man of the
delivery
match. I
and
thought he did. I
contributions.
thought he did really well in that game.
How many players got passing grade? 54% said 0 to 4, and 45% said 5 to 9. Nobody thought 10 to 13. Where do you rank the coaches? Top spot was 5 to 9. Then it was 1 to 4, 10 to 13, and only few people said 14th spot. Thoughts on the Whitecap finishing? This is a question we had after that game. The top spot was 66. 2/3 of the people said finishing will not be their strongest asset. 29% said eventually they will capitalize on their chances, and 4% weren't sure. Biggest concern over the last few games, and again, this was between finishing and defending, and this was again before yesterday. Finishing was 58%, and defending was 42%.
I can understand why that's so close because I'm quite torn as well. I mean, the defence is really worrying just now, but a lot of the goals were given up. You can point a lot of fingers at the midfield players.
And the thing is, if you think of it, 2 goals should be enough to get you victories. Not every
Yes.
game, but most games you should.
Well,
Well,
win.
isn't
then
it?
you
It's
can't
over
give
2
up-
goals a game.
Yeah, you can't give up 2 goals a game
That's
and
what I'm saying.
expect to get much
2 goals.
from it.
You score 2 goals, you should get points.
But if you're giving up 2,
I think I was looking at before Wednesday, but wasn't it over 2 per game? The
as
average
goals against?
Yeah,
I think it was 1.83.
Okay. so still pretty close to 2.
Pretty sure I read that this morning.
So we'll go now to the FC Dallas game. In the bottom is Bernie Abini, and we'll talk about him soon. Then you got Breck Shea, and then you got Brian Rowe. But I thought he did really well, better than in previous games. And again, none of the goals you can blame him on
No.
at all.
Here's the thing. Okay, you can't blame him on some of the goals. He's trying his hardest, all that kind of stuff. But like we've seen goalkeepers of his size, and we've had goalkeepers in the past who are bigger than him, who I think either get to some of these shots,
Yeah, I agree with that.
or are better positioned to
Yep.
get some of these shots.
I agree with
So
that.
not to pile on him a little bit,
Yeah.
but I being at best, he is a backup keeper.
Yo, for
in
sure.
MLS.
And
A couple of inches is really important.
I don't think he's as athletic as Marinovic or Elsaid when you talk about like those wonder stops.
Yeah, Marinovic is, I would say, more athletic.
Top 5. Number 5 spot Felipe. Number 4 spot Russell Tybert. 3 Anthony Blondell. 2 Kai Kamara, and number 1 again Jordi Reyna. You got both times number 1. How many players got a passing?
That's weird. What?
Yeah, I don't really remember Reina doing much. against Dallas.
Well, Robbo in the post game did say he was excellent. They did a lot of things that they wanted him to do, so maybe there was something there. How many players got a passing grade? It was exactly the same as the previous game: 0 to 4, 5 to 9, and nobody voted 9 to 14. Where do you rank the coaching staff? Again, very similar. 6 to 10 was number 1, 1 to 5 was number 2, 11 to 14 was number 3, and again, a few people voted for 15th overall.
Okay. So, some interesting things coming out of that, which we were going to talk about some of them anyway. We'll start off then with Bernie Ibini and Breck Shea.
Or bottom 2.
Yeah, I expected both of them to play against Dallas because the subs on Wednesday night, you could tell that Robbo really had his eye on those players playing on Saturday because they were so late subs, the couple that even did come on. Shea, Texas lad, you'd expect him to play down there against his former team.
Well, he did well in the game in Houston earlier. Yeah.
He's got his new haircut. Dreads.
I think he might have been wearing a new hat, which I called last week.
You did? You said he was getting a new
this
hat.
is where I might...
I think it was a dreadful haircut
No,
to mix his
this
dreadful mix.
This is where I go against the grain because I really like dreadlocks. I don't care.
Really?
I know some people say, depending on who they're on, whatever. I personally like dreadlocks. and
I don't
so
mind him either. I'm not going to...
I think he's up the hair quality in the side. Oh. But that's obviously not important. But, and I'm saying that as a person who did have dreads for a couple of years back in the day.
Really?
We need
Yeah,
a
you
picture.
didn't know that?
We need
We need a
photos of
picture.
that.
You didn't know that?
No.
Oh yeah. Even when I got married, I had dreads.
Wow. But Breck Shea and Bernie Ibini, I felt they did nothing in the game at all. They were just posted missing.
Yeah, like again, when you talk about the first goal, second goal, everything's burned together. The first goal. You talk about, Steve. You talk about Brett being absent on that side. He's not consistently absent, in my opinion. There are times where you see, he makes the effort. He helps defensively, but his inconsistency is disturbing, I think. Yeah. And we don't need to go into the same old discussion about where he is in the roster and all that kind of stuff, but.
Or what he earns.
The fact that he's not able to contribute more defensively should be concerning.
But I mean, Bernie Ibini's started 3 of the last 4, or had runouts in 3 of the last 4, and I was saying that he needs to run the team to kind of show what he's got. He's getting that run, and he's not doing anything. There was rumours that Australian side Perth were maybe interested in taking him back to Oz. I just don't see what he's adding to the team right now.
I agree with you there. I think they've had a run now. I think it was a lot because of the congestion of games. They had to put him out there. And there was one game where he didn't show anything, and he started the next game and again didn't show anything. Yeah. And then now it's the third time in a row.
Both of them starting together though.
It's not a good sign.
I just don't think it's a good combo.
Yeah, I think
one of them and somebody else.
Yeah,
Shea with Teixeira, Ibini with Davies. That might work a lot better.
With Bernie, the difference for me with Bernie is at least I feel like his heart's in it. You feel like he cares.
And you'd think he really feels I've got to prove that I deserve to be a starter here.
No, I think that they need to really look at if they want to rotate and everything. I think instead of putting Ibini and Shea out there, you got to put Blundell with one of them. If you're going to be not going to bring Teixeira on the road as much, I think Blundell, he's shown that he can make those runs wide.
Yeah, he bailed him out on Saturday.
So I think he can do it. I think he's the guy that you want to put instead of a Bernie Ibini. And I think maybe call back Meyer Bevan. Maybe he can do something on the wing. I don't know what his foot speed is like. I haven't seen him in runs like that, but maybe he can do something. And he scored wonder goals from that distance anyways.
Obviously, he'd be behind Kamara and Tony. Do you think like Bernie should have some more runouts when they're rotating the squad up top?
I'd like to see him as a striker because I think
in a 2.
Yeah, I think that is where we could see the best.
But my only issue is then you're taking off Jordi Reyna. He seems to be really good up top there.
Well, we should talk about that as well. 2 games now that Reyna started up top in a 2, which is a little bit surprising. I know I had a discussion with someone when he saw what the team was on Wednesday, and he was like, "What's going on? Is Robbo tripping? Why are you playing Reyna as a 2?" And I was like, "Well, that's what he played. He was a second striker when he was over in Austria."
Well, Tony wasn't even in the squad on Wednesday, right? So it
I
was
think
like,
he took a knock the game before.
right.
He hadn't been at training.
Right.
Yeah.
So what else are you going to do? I think that was a good place to play Jordy on that night. And I think you saw on Wednesday that like a sublime, nice quality pass for the goal. Like it reminded me of Tony's setup to him in Kansas City, right? This nice, perfect through ball guy in alone for the chance. That's what you want from him.
Kamara, Blondell, Reyna together is an exciting prospect, as long as they can put in a good defensive shift.
Yeah.
Which Kamara did. He played quite deep, and I talked about it pre-season. He's a guy that does put in some really good defensive play. Now, Russell Tybert got some stick online. He was 4th there in our sort of player rankings there, and Whitecaps tweeted out today he had a game highs in touches, 72, 55 successful passes, and 93.22 passing accuracy. I thought he had a good game.
Now, I think it was squad player Russell Beresford. He tweeted out something. I think it was one of the stat sheets about his passing and everything. Now, he didn't make very many passes going forward, but his accuracy was much better, and he was obviously a lot more active on the field too.
Yeah. I think he usually helps them keep possession, and he's good at playing a central defensive role. And he has it in him to make contributions going forward.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
And I know you can't boil it all down to this, but you look at how the results of when he's been in the side this year, and it's hard not to see the positive correlation.
Yeah. Now, heading into Dallas, it was a game I personally was fearing. I wasn't looking forward to it. I expected the worst after some of the recent performances, especially San Jose on Wednesday. Houston, RSL away before that. Those were teams that you kind of looked forward to because you felt that the Caps could win, especially the home games, but the away game in RSL, you felt that they could win that, and then they didn't. This was something that Joe and Nick touched on in the preview podcast, but just to get your thoughts on it, what team now do we say realistically, oh, that should be an easy game, or, yep, that's 3 points for the Caps?
Are there any? Like,
Yeah.
when you're
Maybe Colorado.
Yeah, well, Colorado is shockingly poor, so maybe we'll talk about it later.
But
Today or this weekend they were. But if you look at if you're 16th in the spending table, like, yeah, every game is going to be difficult. Everyone's going to have to be at their levels or above for you to get results, right? You can't
Totally.
quote unquote, right? Like that, like that's legitimately where things are at. And so if people don't recognize that. I don't. If people haven't come to grips with that yet, and been okay with that, or
It's going to be a tough season, I think.
and there's tough games even for the top teams.
Oh yeah,
Atlanta is not. They took a loss today, and
it was 3-1 the last I saw.
yeah, it ended 3-1 too, and that was at home. And so there's not an easy game ever.
I would have been happy for that if it wasn't for their opponent.
Well, hopefully the injury that happened to Kamar Lawrence is not as bad. He was knocked out for like 8 minutes, and they stretchered him off and everything like that. It was pretty bad.
Oh wow!
It was 12 minutes of added time. So the Whitecaps, if somebody scored in that 12 minutes, there would have been the latest
would
goal.
have lost his record.
Yeah.
But there was 2 more points dropped at home against San Jose on Wednesday. Obviously, Joe and Nick covered that game. We won't go into that, but 9 points dropped now from the first 6 matches at home. That's half the points left on the table. What's behind that? How do we fix that?
Well, I think we've already mentioned. I think number one, to me, the number one thing seems to be the finishing. Seems there's been enough chances, especially in these recent matches, to get the results.
15 against Houston, 22 against San Jose.
Yeah, and so the finishing for me is number one. The second thing is obviously the defense, and with Kendall leaving after the game against New England, that's going to be a massive hole to fill.
Yeah, does he come back?
Well, that's. I mean,
he's going to come back.
To get stuff.
Yeah, get his stuff. But I agree with you there. But if I compare just the two sets of games, right? Two that I was really down on the 2 LA games, and then I compare the last 2 games. I'm a little bit more optimistic about the last 2 games than I am about the previous games. So I'm kind of on an upward swing when it comes. It's not a meteoric rise, but it is kind of curving upwards. So I think I'm there right now. So I think they're on the verge of fixing it at home, but they're still not there. There's still that obviously the finishing that they need to do.
For you, Steve, is that because I remember those games?
It was just no effort. There was no
yeah.
effort, and they are showing some of that now.
Yeah, they are. There's a lot of concern at both ends of the pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, you just can't get away from that. It was mentioned in the commentary by Luke Wildman, I think it was, that Robbo indicated to him when they chatted on Friday that there would be no more major additions in the summer. I don't believe that to be true, but getting aside from that, if that was the case, this is going to then be the squad, maybe minus some reductions or some bit part squad players that he might add, that he feels can get us to the playoffs. Is this squad good enough?
No.
Is it lacking anything?
Now the thing is, major additions. I think he may be talking about big names.
I think he meant DP.
Yeah. Not even DP. I think it could be DP, but I think it's big names, like the big European names or South American names.
I think there will be at least one addition in the summer. There was nearly one before the window shut.
Well, regardless, if there is or there isn't, I think this is a better way to manage expectations. Say there's nothing nothing's going to happen, and if something does happen,
through,
yeah.
It's like,
and I say that not knowing what's happening or not happening on this.
If you're not expecting much, and then something good happens, that's
well, we already got much.
Yeah,
very good.
Oh, what do
He's
we?
actually in part 5, so
Yeah.
we'll hear him. But yeah, do we? Because I mean, who knows when he's coming back? Stefan Marinovic as well. There's been no confirmation of how long he's going to be out for.
Yeah.
Neil Henry went down injured in the warm-ups for Ottawa Fury. So I haven't had an update on that.
That's going to be encouraging news for Aaron Mond.
Yes. Not encouraging then when you only have 2 centre-backs on your roster. Obviously, Ali Ghazal, maybe Efrain Juarez could slot in there. Terrifying thought, possibly. But yeah, 2 centre-backs with Kendo away and Daniil possibly injured.
I think Ali Ghazal should take the penalties from now on.
I don't know. There was a funny story from training that I told Zach that I won't share because I might have to cut that out as well.
No, you're right. It's not encouraging, and even for like Aaron Mond hasn't been like Ghazal's been the replacement center back in the 18 in the last 2 or 3 matches or whatever it's been.
Yeah, that has been a bit of a surprise.
Kendall's going to be leaving. Sounds like.
But we don't know if Henry's injury is a bad one or if it was just a slight twinge. But the fact that he's just going, I mean, he was apparently doing really well for Ottawa. They hadn't given up a goal.
But even if he is or if he isn't, you're going to have Jose and you're going to have
it's going
Aaron.
to be Aaron Mond. There's no way Henry comes back and slots in. He might play the Canadian Championship games. I'd expect him to.
Those are in July, though.
Yeah.
That's after the World Cup.
Yeah, that's true. Kendall's probably back by then. Or will he be?
I love you guys keep saying that.
No,
that was one of the big Whitecap stories of the week. He was named to the Costa Rican World Cup squad.
Yeah.
No one else was.
It's a tough group he's in, though.
Bola was.
Ali Ghazal wasn't named to the Costa Rican World Cup squad.
No.
Or Benny Abini. He wasn't named to the Costa Rican World Cup squad. Or me.
No, you're definitely not.
I was hoping for a call-up.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. Announcer?
I still have bad vibes about Costa Rica because they destroyed Scotland 4-1 in the 1990 World Cup. Or was it 1-0? We've lost so many games. Well, 4-1 might have been another tournament.
Well, the teams they're playing are capable of destroying them this year.
There's the Brazilians.
Yes.
No, they'll beat them 6-1. Not quite as good as Germany.
Chocolate Boys.
Switzerland?
Mm-hmm. And I would just
Team
Toblerone? Yeah. Just say Serbia. Just say Serbia. Don't do anything there. But
my mind was going there.
The Eagles. I thought you were going to say the Eagles.
The Eagles, yes.
Yeah.
Hotel California.
But
there's been rumours as well.
There was a rumor as well. You were talking about. I don't know if this is the guy that they were talking about that might be in line just before the deadline.
Don't you love it though when MLS Soccer report rumours?
Well, they reported it based on somebody's tweet.
Can they not just call someone in the office next door and go, "Is this happening?"
It was based on a tweet from a journalist, I think.
Yes.
Then it's legit.
Yeah.
Uruguayan forward. He's 5'8".
Because we need.
So he's definitely not a target forward. Facundo Barcelo. Barcello.
Barcello.
There
I'm
you go.
gonna go with.
Maybe I don't think he's Italian though. But they rumored that he might be in line for Vancouver. Now again, he's 5'8", so maybe he's forward / number 10 that they're
Well,
looking for a cheaper option.
Ticks the box. Cheap option, as you just said. South American.
Cheap.
Yep.
And number 3, cheap.
Cheap.
Well,
We'll call him the budgie boy.
the only thing about that is like if someone with those characteristics does come in, it's not at least they have a big man. They have sort of one big man and one. Well, I don't know how you describe Tony. He's not big, but he's not small.
He's 6'1" or 6'3".
Yeah, but before in the past, it was like when we all had guys who were 6 feet or under. It felt a little bit awkward that there wasn't someone bigger. So, if that's the kind of player they brought in to complement to help with finishing,
Yeah.
Could he be the new Nicholas Mosqueda?
I think I would say Jordi Reyna.
Sebastian Fernandez,
Or Jordi Reyna to be like a kind of a compliment to him when he's not able to play.
but that doesn't sound like a difference maker out of
No, for sure.
right off
And
the bat.
That's coming to the big name
Yes,
that's not coming
this
in.
is what we are lacking a proper number 10.
Yeah.
Does it matter, though, the way that Robbo lines his teams up, that we don't have that number 10? Or is that the thing that is missing from us? A number 10 will obviously have some chances to score, but he's going to be the creator. If we're still not putting the ball in the back of the net, does it matter if we have a number 10 or not? We are creating chances just now.
Yeah, we're not super creative, but you're right. We are creating chances. We're just not finishing them. But a difference maker, dynamic difference maker in terms of being creative in the middle, could change everything.
Now the attendance the last couple of games not that great, but I consider Friday games a midweek game because people are getting off work.
Well, you just call it midweek, a midweek, or
a
weeknight.
Weeknight game, and then even obviously the Wednesday game wasn't that greatly attended. I don't know what they announced for attendance.
7:30 on a Wednesday. That was shocking.
It's hard to do.
The New England game, I believe, is close to being sold out.
Yeah. And that's a 3 p.m.
And again,
start?
it's after 2:30.
2:30?
Again, it's after the Champions League.
But that's the
final.
thing. If the Champions League goes late, you're gonna have
people
But
in
they don't care.
the
They've bought
concourse watching
tickets,
it.
it's okay.
They'll be watching it in the concourse, basically.
I want to give a big shout out to Robert Earnshaw, assistant down in Fresno, but took the team on Wednesday for the US Open Cup game. Adam Smith was out the country.
That's the only way Whitecaps are going to start in the season.
Yes, 2-0 win after extra time against Orange County.
Terran
3
Campbell
caps started. Yeah, and Terran Campbell
scored
got
the winner.
95th winner.
And set up the second goal, too. Yeah.
And Matthew Baldissimo came on as well, so that was good.
Oh, Baldissimo's there.
Yeah, he's still alive. I was getting worried. And the last Whitecaps news of the week, Marcel de Jong signed a new deal. So that was good news.
It's good for him.
Now, how many options are in there and how many actual years?
He signed till 2019
With
with
an
an option for 2020.
Okay.
That was one of the small points of discussion in the last couple of weeks I've seen about him is how does he feel? Because he basically is a left winger who's been played a lot of left back.
Yes.
When you look at he's been on like 150 or whatever, and you look at a guy making what was like 6 times more than you, who plays like 20 minutes a game or whatever, like playing in front, like how does that work itself out in the?
Yeah, it's always awkward. I got a chance though to speak to Marcel de Jong along with Squire Barnes.
Really?
Yeah, training on Tuesday.
Wow.
So let's play that for you now. Hi, so Marcel, you've got a new contract extension. Peace of mind for you? I know it's a kind of game where you can move around a lot, but does this give you some stability?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think it's at a certain age when you get a new contract, it's really nice. You can think about after career stuff, but not that I'm thinking about that too much, because I feel still fit. So no, but I'm happy with the new contract, obviously, and yeah, I'm just excited to keep playing for a couple more years for the Whitecaps.
Now, last year you had the battle with Jordan, obviously, for the starting spot. This year, Brett Levis has come in and given you a battle. How much do you thrive in that competition at your age to keep raising your game to another level?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, but it's also good for you. I mean, it keeps you sharp, keeps you focused, and Brett Levis has done really well, and and he's making it difficult for me and for the coach. And it keeps me my A game, and so you have to keep training hard, playing good every game, every week in, week out. So it's good for us. So we got a couple of battles on the field, other positions as well. So it's not just me. We got a whole group of players who can fill in for each other. So it's good.
The full-back position at the club just now, it's a nice dynamic because you've got a couple of veterans at left and right back and a couple of young guys pushing you. Does that just kind of help shape different ideas and bring different things to the team?
Yeah, I think so. Of course. I mean, some games you need to play with experienced players. I guess when you play against certain opponents, it's better to have a more experienced player. Other games, the coach might want some fresh young player in the squad who can do something extra. So it's good for the diversity of the team. You can go any way you want.
Marcel, how happy have you been with your experience in Vancouver? How has it been?
It's really good. I mean, since the first day I got here, I felt home. I felt comfortable here. Family loves it here. Wife got a job. My kid goes to school. So outside football is perfect, and football-wise, the club is amazing. So I'm really happy to be here and be part of this organization.
So the entire family was glad when you put your signature on.
Oh yeah, they were really happy. So, it's for them also always the question: what happens next year? Contract is almost up. What do we do? What do we do? Are we staying here? Are we going? So it's good so they have they can calm down now and stop bothering me but they're happy.
Was this something you were pursuing, or did the club come to you? How did it work?
Kind of both ways. I mean, I said it from the beginning when I was here. This organization is great, and I see something nice here, and I want to be part of this for as long as I can. And so it came both ways. We're both happy. I mean, I know I'm happy, so hopefully they're happy.
Family's happy?
Yeah.
Thanks so much, Marcel. Congrats.
And I wear it for my lady, the Canadian flag, baby.
Marcel de Jong. He's going to be with the Whitecaps for another couple of years. The stability aspect of it is great for these players because they do move around so much.
You wanted him shipped out like 6 months into his time here.
Yeah, I've come around on him and Tybert and a few other folk.
And he's your favourite interview now. Go on.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Oh, okay.
We haven't done our chocolate digestive with him yet. I didn't have time.
Oh, that's the turning
Didn't have
point.
time on Tuesday.
Didn't turning point.
Wrap this section up with just a little quick chat about the play of the full-backs. I'm liking Alphonso Davies at left back less and less.
And I think it's wearing him down.
I think
he's
doing
tired.
well.
I know Robbo was saying, we like him. He likes making runs away from the back, but he can't do it all the time.
No.
And I think it's wearing
He's
him
making
down.
mistakes. He's getting caught. I think other teams are seeing that. They might be targeting him.
Yeah.
Oh, you want me to say something about Alphonso Davies playing left back?
yeah,
I think
come
I've
on.
already said
How much
he shouldn't be playing left back.
How much did he play left back, and how much was he going forward in that game against Dallas? I think
He didn't go forward much once he switched that I
really?
saw.
Oh, okay.
Brett Levi's cramping again, which is very worrying. And he said it's something that he's had his whole career. That's tough because you can't keep switching your left back out.
Yeah, you
at the
can't.
65, 70 minute
Because that's the
Well-
position you don't normally switch
Yeah.
out.
Well, I'm pretty sure you'll never hear him say that again because someone will coach him not to.
Yes.
Hopefully that's something he can overcome.
Especially an agent. Agent should be coaching him not to
Is
say
it
that.
worth...
Well, you know who will be coaching him, what to say on that.
Like when we first saw Brett, we saw him as a midfielder. He's played on the wing, left winger, left midfielder, centre midfield. He can play. He's also played DM. Saw him with the Highlanders do that. We saw him in PDL with the Whitecaps and WFC2 initially. Is it worth taking a look at him again as a left winger? Because I liked what he brought, and to me that's what earned him the contract.
Is it worth it? Yeah, potentially. The only time I see them trying something like that would be like in preseason or friendlies or potentially even the Voyageurs Cup.
Not when we go 3-5-2.
Well, no, that's the thing though. To me, that he's the kind of player that would suit that formation very well.
Maybe Voyageurs Cup actually. 3-5-2, Levi's is a left winger in the Voyageurs Cup. You heard it here first.
Against Montreal.
Yes.
And who on the right side, Jake?
Jake Ruby? Yeah, let's put him in. He's injured, so I don't know if he'll be fit, but we'll see.
Who's Jake Ruby?
The residency player.
Oh, okay. I think you're talking about,
Yeah,
okay.
only the under-16 captain last year, Zach.
Right, okay.
Jeez, get your
I
residency
You-
knowledge.
You were
out
thinking
there.
of the assassinator of Lee Harvey Oswald.
That's Jack
weren't you?
Ruby.
No,
That's Jack
I
Ruby.
thought it was some wrestling thing that you guys were
Oh,
talking
okay.
about.
No, you have.
I'm sorry. My apologies to
I'm
Jack.
sorry. I appreciate the club all the way down to youth level.
Yeah.
I'm sorry that you.
Yeah.
We'll be back with some Canadian PL chat after this.
Hi, I'm Alfonso Davies, and you're listening to the AFTN Soccer Show.
Hey, Mr. Churchill comes over here to say we're doing splendidly. But it's very cold out here in the snow, marching to and from the enemy. Oh, I say it's tough, I have had enough. Can you stop the cavalry?
Welcome back. You're listening to the AFTN Soccer Show on CiTR Radio. And it's time now to talk about some Canadian Premier League stuff. Very exciting week for those of us looking forward to the Canadian PL.
Yeah, things are coming in fast.
Yeah. Going to dedicate this whole part to chatting about it. Played Stop the Cavalry there, which I'm hoping is a song that opposition fans will be singing. I don't know how well known that is over here. That was a big Christmas hit in the early 80s by Jonah Louie.
Yeah, nothing there.
No one know Jonah Louie?
No.
You'll
I was-
always find me in the kitchen at parties?
No, I was born in Canada, not in England. So
Ah.
can't really comment on early 80s Christmas songs.
For me, the name there, I saw someone else, actually, a friend of mine said this to me as well, but whenever I hear the name, I always hear, I hear the...
Calvary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, yeah, it's nice. And then I'm like, oh, no, that's not what it means.
Are they just going to call it Cavalry FC, or,
Yes.
or are they going to call it Cavalry FC of Calgary or something?
No.
Wow.
Yep. So let's get straight to that. The big news this week, Calgary are in.
Yeah.
Or Cavalry are in. This is going to get confusing. For me, if it was called Calgary Cavalry, apart from that being a complete mouthful, I'd have been okay with that. I hate the name. I know why they've done it. They're playing at Spruce Meadows. It's the Equestrian Centre. It's a name inspired by the region's storied military history and all that kind of stuff. I just don't like it.
And it fits with their whole horse thing that they got going on there.
But what's wrong with Calgary FC? What's wrong with... Why do you have to have these hokey names? Port City, which I know is probably not going to be the name of the team, but Port City and Cavalry and York 9.
York 9 at least has a city in it.
Yeah.
There's a city name in it.
No, but that's partly the thing. I think they publicly said this, that they don't expect every team to be City FC, City United,
No.
Sporting City, Real City.
But to me, it makes it seem hokey. It loses some legitimacy. No, it doesn't. It loses some legitimacy to me.
No, I think what they're trying to do is they're trying to connect with these communities in a different way.
Yes,
in a
they're going for the non-football.
Not even that. I think they're just trying to bring the city, instead of making it a city thing, making it a community thing, right?
Yeah, yes. Community is huge for this league. They don't want it just to be just a sports team.
No, I get that.
And I think people will come to understand that the more and more these clubs launch, and the more and more they get closer to playing, that they want this to be different than something different in the sporting landscape than what the people already have in their ice hockey and in their pigskin and in their baseball and basketball, whatever. That they want this to be different. And so I think this is one of the ways they want to do that. They want to connect with the roots of the community. And it's okay. Yeah, some people are going to say that, hey, that's a miss for me, or that's whatever.
I just don't like it. Are we going to have the fans behind the goal blowing a bugle and going charge on attacks and stuff?
But you do have teams in Europe. I'll use example right off the bat. Arsenal. Nobody would you know where that was from if you didn't. We're in a sports.
Well, they were called Woolwich Arsenal originally.
There you go. At that time, but now they're just Arsenal. You got up north. You got Rangers and Celtic. Would you, if you didn't know anything about soccer, soccer. Would you know where those cities are from?
It's like one of his Vice rivals, Wraith Rovers. There was a famous. They play in a town called Kirkcaldy.
Yeah,
and there was a famous thing. They'd won a game, and the commentator was going, "They'll be dancing in the streets of Wraith tonight."
Yeah.
Sadly, they were still dancing.
So this league is kind of like trying to form its own identity.
Yes. I just think it comes across as hokey.
Now, getting back to Calgary, they are building the stadium. 5,000 seats initially.
Yeah, flexibility to expand. It's one of those modular stadiums, which is going to be, I think, what we see throughout the league.
Yeah.
Grass pitch.
Yeah, grass pitch.
Good.
And
it's good for the horses to feed on.
That's huge.
That's probably what how they're
not the horses thing. The fact that it's grass is huge.
It's nearby transit too.
Yeah.
So it's not too. It's
some
just south. It's south of
train station.
It's south of Calgary, not too far away, even for driving. And I think they have plenty of parking too, if they need
Free
it.
shuttles getting put on for the fans.
Yeah. I didn't double check it, but yeah, I've heard that the light rail or whatever is not that far away.
Calgary, of course, is known as Cowtown.
Yeah.
A little bit unfair, I think.
Stop. Don't finish that. Please don't finish that.
There are some
don't
attractive
finish
girls there.
That's Jimmy Carr. That is Jimmy Carr. Copyright Jimmy Carr. Apparently he played Calgary a couple of days ago, you were saying?
He did.
Yeah.
He's been all over.
We talked about how Calgary Foothills would have a
they couldn't go with a Foothills thing, but yeah.
But their coach is transferring over basically to the team.
Tommy Wheeldon Jr., who I've got a lot of time for, head coach and GM. He's the current Foothills boss. He has a rich history in the city. He moved over about 16 years ago, played with Calgary Storm. They went out of business. He's been with Foothills for over 10 years.
Yeah. And he's assembling a pretty strong base of a team right now.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look
on
at their PDL squad.
On the backs of the Whitecaps residency, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. But you look at that PDL squad, and that has been put together with the Canadian PL in mind.
Which is smart.
Yeah, very smart. I mean, surely that's going to give them a foot up in competitiveness over some teams.
A foothill up.
Oh, very good.
That is one of the things that is interesting in terms of we're talking about all these cities being added and launches and all this kind of stuff, but we don't know the measures that will be taken in terms of how you can build your squad. So I have heard that there's some frustrated perspectives in terms of both what Calgary and what Ottawa have been doing in terms of building their squads these last 2 years.
Now,
which I mean, fair enough to them. They have existing things, and hopefully they can take advantage of that.
But they're picking local players, and that's one of the things that Tommy Wheeldon said.
Not just local players; they're picking Canadian players.
Yes, but they are getting a lot of local guys as well. And what Tommy Wheeldon said was, we're about local players. We're going to look at local first, scour the local area, see what the talent's about. Then he's going to look nationally for the pieces that they're missing. Then internationally. And I think that is the correct way to build the squad. I mean, you talk about connecting to the communities. If you've got local talent, which is like what TSS Rovers have done, they've got so much buy-in because they've gone with the Canadians for Canadians thing. But even more than that, there's so many local players in the squad that you're connecting, and they've got family and friends that are retweeting stuff. And I mean, it's great. That is how you will get a community to support a team. It's easier to cheer for a guy in Calgary that's grown up in Calgary than someone that they might be bringing from Venezuela, for example.
I don't know. I know the Calgary scene as well, obviously, because I've spent very little time there. But the advantage from an outsider's perspective, the advantage that you have with a Tommy Wheeldon Jr. being involved is that everyone knows him. Hopefully they have a good relationship with him, but they know him.
Foothills have done well and have a good reputation locally with the local soccer clubs, which is obviously not the same in a lot of cities where there's some professional teams. I mean, what is the future of their PDL side? That's something that hasn't been discussed. I am actually going to be speaking to Tommy, maybe for next week's show or the show after, because they're going to be coming to play TSS on June 1st here at Swangard. So I'm hoping to speak to Tommy before it, but it might not happen. I might not get to speak to him until they arrive for the game, and then we'll have it in the show after.
Here's the thing. I can't remember the wording of it, but the CSA has said we are no longer going to sanction teams to play in American leagues.
Yes.
But
teams that are in it, they can be maybe grandfathered or...
So how that will play out with the advent of the Canadian Premier League is going to be interesting.
Well, yeah, but they could argue, well, we've got our team in the Canadian Premier League. Why would you? This is our reserve team. You don't have a reserve league. We need to have a reserve team.
And it'll be interesting to see how it plays
Yeah,
out. Yeah.
and I think that's how it should be.
Yeah, I
It
think
could be the
I
case
think
of the BC team
yeah.
might want to use TSS in the PDL.
Yeah.
Victoria's team, which we'll come to in a sec if they get one, might want to use the Highlanders in the PDL as a reserve
It's a
team.
smart idea from all, like if the CSA looks at it that way. I think it would be wise for them to keep it going because there's teams in Ontario too, Kitchener, Waterloo.
Yes.
They've done well.
Thunder Bay.
Thunder
But
Bay.
Kitchener's not having a team this year, are they?
I don't know.
doesn't look like
I know they were playing it in the championship a couple of years ago. I know they did
Well,
that.
they won it. I saw them win it down in Seattle.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they're not playing this
Yeah,
year.
they're not.
So, but that's the thing, though. You're right. In one sense, you could say, Michael, there's no avenue for us to continue to build and bring through the players, develop players, but
You'd be like the Whitecaps.
But the I won't bite on that. But you also have to look at what's the bigger picture of the Canadian Premier League and the football pyramid in Canada, right? Because long term, they want to be able to have an actual pyramid. And although they're not building from the grassroots, which probably makes the most logical sense, due to the where football's at and the financial climate and all that kind of stuff, they need to start top down a little bit. They'll want teams, instead of being in a PDL, in a USL, in a whatever in the States, they'll want them to join this pyramid.
Maybe initially they can give those year to year exemptions to those teams, so that until they set that
I would
up,
hope
then they
so,
can do that.
because it's short-sighted otherwise, because you're killing the development. At least in BC, we do have the PCSL, which is a complete farce right now.
But maybe
I mean,
that's
something
that's
that
the thing
used.
they could raise up, right, in order to build up to that second next
Or
level.
you could end up with more Tier 3 style, like League 1 Ontario, the Quebec League.
Well, that
it fell down here.
Long term, that needs to happen in each province, really.
Yeah, but for that to happen, which is the big issue in BC, which if folk don't know what we're talking about, in Ontario you've got League 1 Ontario, and then there's the Quebec League as well, which I think is the PCQL or PSQL, something like that anyway. But they hope to have one in BC, and they put it out for interested clubs to take part. Only one note of interest was put in.
Really?
Yes.
I thought it was 0.
No, there was one.
So here's the
There was
thing.
the Fraser Valley League. They wanted to have an all-star team in it.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But they had so much stupid criteria that the teams had to meet, like having like venues with set number of seats and stuff. So it put people off.
So, okay, the two sides of that coin. You need to have standards when you're having a league.
You need to have standards, but you have to make sure the facilities already exist in places. Otherwise, it's a lot of expense for clubs.
You can't expect people to build.
So, but
that was only part of the issue.
You do need to have standards. But from my understanding, and I might be wrong on this, is the local clubs in BC just were like, well, what's the advantage of us doing this as opposed to what we're doing now?
You've also got the three leagues, the Vancouver Island League, VMSL in Vancouver, and the Fraser Valley League. They all want to be top dogs, and they don't want to give up any other pieces of the pie. So unless the old guard in those leagues move on, you bring new blood in that's prepared to say, look, okay, VMSL, it's a better league than Fraser Valley League, but we're prepared to work together for the betterment of the game in BC and Canada to get teams from all these leagues to play together. The other thing, though, is a lot of the players and a lot of the teams didn't want to travel. Like, guys in Vancouver that are playing for fun at the weekend didn't want to have to travel to play games on the island.
Right.
Things like that.
Michael, what you said there in your comment is essentially the whole struggle that has been happening for the last number of years in Canada.
Football,
is what is best for us to develop as a footballing nation, and are people willing to sacrifice, whether it's their prestige or their power or their finances, in order to help make that happen, or will people just continue to fight for what they have and or want more?
Yeah,
and this is a huge. This is still a huge issue.
Turkey's voting for Christmas thing in some ways, because people are out for themselves. It's all self-interest, and if they're going to go down a road that maybe they lose some junkets or stuff, they don't like that.
Well, we'll get back to the West Coast, but let's go to the East Coast. Next announcement is it's going to be Halifax.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
this is a team I'm really looking forward to, and I said in a previous show I would move to Halifax to work for this team. Just throw that out there again if you're listening, Halifax people.
It's close to Scotland too.
It is.
Halifax,
I'd get home for East Fife games.
It's new. It's in New Scotland.
Yeah.
All I need to do is get a helicopter, fly to East Fife, be perfect.
A helicopter?
Yeah.
I don't think they make trips that far, do they?
But Halifax Wanderers supporters group are having a meeting on Tuesday to get ready for it, and also to kind of shape the future name, identity, structure, activities of the group.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's exciting. These guys have wanted this for so long. We did last summer our Canadian PL special, which we're going to be doing again this summer. And we spoke to one of the guys from Halifax, and just the excitement in the city is fantastic. I'm really looking forward to what this club's going to bring to the game.
It's one of the most exciting ones because of it's not like a city where you're going and they have the CFL, they have the NHL, they have all these other things.
It's the big show in town.
It feels like this can be something that galvanizes and brings the whole community together.
Then Winnipeg is going to be next.
I think that's June 6th that's been announced for.
Now, the Fraser Valley bid, it's been a little bit quiet. There's been some speculation out there, but one of the things is there's not a date. They've announced dates for all these things that's coming up.
Yeah.
Port City, Fraser Valley, BC bid to be confirmed. There is no date. I think we can all read between the lines as to why that might be the case, which is there's still some issues with where they're going to play, stadium-wise. Some speculation as well as to who the head coach might be. I mean, we talked about Tommy Wheeldon. He's been the first head coach that's been announced for any of the teams. A lot of rumours doing the rounds locally, and I've heard this from people within BC soccer circles, like other coaches and stuff in local teams. Nick Dazovic is a name that's getting thrown out there.
And it makes sense, too, because he's been a coach. He's been a coach at the MLS level.
Mm-hmm. With San Jose.
With San Jose. And
he's done it at a high level.
He's done it, I believe he was with the U23s or U20s, one of those
Mark
levels.
Watson as well.
Yeah, and so I makes sense that his name would be in the mix, whether it's in the Fraser Valley or even somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's anywhere across the country.
There's a lot of names kind of that you could speculate might want the BC job.
Yeah, when you talk about Canadian Premier League sides in BC, I think it's natural to link former national team players to coaching positions, especially those who've expressed an interest in coaching. So you mentioned Nick Dazovic,
Bobby Leonarduzzi.
Yeah, no. You mentioned Nick Dazovic. You mentioned Mark Watson, who's assistant coach in Minnesota and MLS right now. Colin Miller, who's coached Edmonton at.
He is coaching PCSL with Abbotsford right now.
Well, because he lives in Abbotsford. He went back to his home club. Paul, I don't know if Paul Dolan wants to do a head coaching job, but he's done a lot of keeping.
You'd think he would want to be involved as a goalkeeper.
So I think
Marius Rovda is back in town at the moment. He's out in Port Moody. He might want to get involved just goalkeeping.
So there's a lot of people. There's a lot of names that you could link with these potential clubs in BC.
Now, one former member is kind of not a coach, but in front of the ownership group of the Victoria Group. And it was mentioned that they're one of 22 additional groups that I'm looking at. That's a lot.
22 groups talking to the league.
Yeah. Not just for Victoria, but across the country, 22 groups. And so,
big Victoria rumours coming out.
The team looks like it's playing out of Langford, which is
West Hill Stadium.
Yeah, west of Victoria.
Yep, I was there 2-3 years ago for the provincial final. Nice little setup that they've got there.
It's just off Highway 1 too. When you go up north of the
very
island.
easy, very easy to get to. I've already been pricing my houses in case I get a job there as well. So just throwing that out to the Victoria folk as well.
But they need to be vetted, apparently. By
David Clanahan said that the group, as a lot of the groups, still have to be vetted. So maybe a little bit premature by the Times columnist to put that out there. But at the same time, it's good putting that out there because it gets the excitement.
Well, it was Steve Sandor that asked him about it from the 11.ca.
Well, if you see the article from the Victoria paper or whatever, even Josh Simpson's comments are kind of like, whoa,
and he's
let's not put the cart before the
horse.
horse.
This is, I think this will, if Victoria gets approved, it'll be the second wave of teams that come in. It won't be the initial wave.
If they could get a stadium sorted out,
second
really
or
quick,
third wave, one of their.
I think they could be in it at the start. If they can get the stadium approved, I mean, who knows? Wouldn't it be ironic if Victoria got their stadium approved? And Port City, Fraser Valley, but didn't.
Well, the thing
Victoria started off.
It seems like the Fraser Valley one is going to be built from scratch.
Yes.
Well, it's obviously, like you said, the West Hill Stadium is up in there. They just got to make some modifications.
We've talked about Josh Simpson. I mean, it's a well-known secret Rob Friend is one of the guys that is behind the Fraser Valley team.
Well, he posed for the picture.
Yeah, so it's not a big surprise when you see that. I mean, he's just helped launch an indoor urban soccer centre, just launched on Friday in North Van. So, I mean, he's investing and wanting to grow the game here. So it's great to see guys like him, Josh Simpson, wanting to give back to the Canadian game and grow the game
It's
here.
all that LA Galaxy money that he got.
He could have been a Whitecap, you know.
No, yeah. So obviously, you mentioned a key element of this is stadium, right?
Yes.
And so it's not a huge logical step to say more things are not being talked about in the Fraser Valley because of lack of stadium. In terms of the port, I know I made fun of it when we talked about this a while ago. The Port City name, I don't. Depending on where you put the stadium, I think it can work well, and if you put it in other places, maybe it doesn't work so well. So
yeah,
if it's near the Surrey dock thing, whatever it's called, terminal, I don't know what it's called. I think it makes a lot of sense, and it could be a good thing.
Yeah, it has to. Like, it doesn't have to be right on a SkyTrain. I mean, you could do what Calgary's done and put 3 shuttles on.
Got to be close.
But then you're having a bigger expense as well.
In an
somewhere like Langley, I mean,
it's a different vibe.
Yeah, you can't put a shuttle on from anywhere to Langley without it being a long shuttle.
Well, there are buses that run there, Michael. But yeah,
the look not horse-drawn carts.
The look on your face was priceless there when you said it.
Obviously, being on SkyTrain would be more ideal for the Fraser Valley, and
or maybe they extend the SkyTrain to Langley at some point.
Now, if it's along that part where it's that along the Fraser River there, where there's we talked about it off air. I don't even know if this is going to happen, but there's right by the Surrey docks. There's that land right by the bridge and the SkyTrain bridge.
Is that one of the 3 locations? That
I have no idea, but I always thought that was an ideal situation because you got the highway. Highway 1 comes right through there too, and then you got
so Highway 17. You mean
something like that?
Yeah.
I can't remember.
Yeah,
but there's a lot of connections from the highways, and there's a lot of obviously you got the SkyTrain.
How does it do with earthquake testing?
I don't know.
Could we call them the Surrey Highwaymen?
No, you
that'd
cannot.
be good.
Here.
I think so, and you can play that song too.
Yes,
the Highwaymen.
And deliver.
As someone,
the Highwaymen, the song.
As someone who has lived in the Fraser Valley for more than a decade, yeah, I long for this team to be born. However, I'd rather it be done in the right way.
Yes.
And if it takes,
we've talked about the importance of getting it right.
Yes.
So you want it natural and not with drugs.
Sure.
No epinephrine shot.
Sure.
One chance to do this right.
Yeah. So if it takes longer, it takes longer, as long as it gets done well.
Yes.
Like, that's the most important thing. So for some people, maybe that will require more patience. We'll see how this is all going to play out.
I would be fine if they weren't in the first wave, if they can launch perfectly in wave 2.
But one other quick thing, I don't know if I saw it in your notes there or not. Stadiums are key.
Yes.
And I don't know if you've heard what's happened in Hamilton.
Yeah.
Yeah, they finally got the agreement.
The deal.
It's
That was
like,
a couple of weeks ago. We talked about headlines.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's huge.
Yeah.
I thought it got
No, it just got
confirmed.
finalized.
It was
Confirmed
just
this week.
they said it was essentially going to get done.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
some people that put a little bit of fight into it, but it wasn't. It wasn't. Gonna happen.
That's the Hamilton. The people I know in Hamilton have known it was going to be finalized for a while, but yeah, that is a huge weight off their shoulders there, so that they can move forward. One of the other interesting things that this might not be huge news for you, but one of the main guy who started Barton Street Battalion, he is now no longer part of Barton Street Battalion because he is like a ticket and sales
was the guy
rep.
that we had on the show as well.
James, right?
Yeah, I was going to actually put that in the thing, but I thought we've got tons of stuff.
So
some quick things just to wrap this up. David Clanican as well, when he spoke to Steve Sandor on the 11.ca. Check out the excellent article on that. He revealed some things about the league this week when he was in Calgary.
Stuff we kind of knew already.
Well,
we expected.
Didn't
something,
or stuff we maybe hoped for. Single table.
I think we kind of had an idea that they were going to do that.
I didn't.
I think
wasn't sure.
It was reported somewhere that there.
I was hoping, but especially if you have 6 to 8 teams, playoffs with that's ridiculous.
Now the second one, I had no idea that they were. This is what their aim was. The Champions League berth.
Yes, but it's not certain.
No,
it's
I
not
know.
been
But that's what they're aiming for right now. I didn't even think they were going to aim for that.
Automatic Champions League berth. Now, worst case scenario, you could have the Voyageurs Cup winner playing off against the CPL winner for a place.
No,
if they don't get an automatic berth.
No, because the CPL team should be in the Voyageurs Cup.
Because they are champions.
Yeah,
they're the national champions. those numbers, right? The 28 games.
Yeah, 28 games season.
Makes it seem certain there will be 8 teams, and you'll be playing everyone home
4
and away
times.
twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which I like.
Which, Scotland, that's how it is. Did you play everyone like 6 times?
Yeah, but it's crappy then when you draw them in the cup. Especially if you draw them in both cups or 3 cups, because I think
6 times in a year?
One year we played Brecon 7 or 8 times because we had replays and stuff.
You remember back in the day we used to play Portland or Montreal like 5, 6, 7, 8 times?
Yeah. This also still talks on how the league's going to get broadcast. They're considering non-traditional methods like streaming.
Streaming, yeah.
Possibly Mixler.
Well, that's because
I don't think that's going to happen.
I think we've talked about this past maybe, but they have people who, as a part of the league setup, who this is an area of expertise for them.
I am still happy to do what I did with the VMSL games, just stand and film at the side of the pitch. Do a little bit of commentary.
Do you get paid for being VAR?
No, but they have been using my footage in interesting ways.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, that's a story for another day.
So let's wrap it up. What are your guys' how is your excitement level? If you want, maybe you want to rate it 1 to 10. Maybe it's happy.
I'm at 11.
Emoji.
I genuinely am.
Emoji
at 11.
kind of thing.
I'm at 11, but there does seem to be some delays possibly in BC that might temper that a little bit.
Yeah.
But for the whole league, I'm just excited.
Yeah, I'm at a 9 right now. And I just I'm very close to being a 10. Like you said,
I'm more excited than I thought I would be.
Yeah.
I genuinely am.
Yeah, for me, I'm off the charts excited about this because this has the potential to grow and develop the sport and support a culture in a way that it needs to in this country. So I'm optimistic. There's still a lot of work to do. Like no one can be like rest on their laurels and be like, oh, our club launch, we got this. There's a lot of work that needs to be done.
My only thing that dampers me a little bit is when you go through the headline, like you read all the headlines during the week, right? And you get these blowhards that are just like going, oh, this is it's a lower level and not that great. And,
did you see Laura Armstrong?
No, there was even some other people on top of that.
We were talking
there
about
was some
that
additional
at training on Tuesday, funnily enough.
There were some additional people too that were talking about.
Wednesday. We were talking about it anyway this week.
There was somebody talking about York 9 being, wanting to be the main team in the GTA, and they think that's very unlikely it's going to happen.
And
it was editorial.
York 9 even said that's not even.
But that's what he was saying that they were trying to do. They're trying to say that they want to do.
Just take it what it is, but the hard work is not over when the league launches.
Not in the long
That's
run,
just the start of it.
No, there's a massive amount of work to do.
I mean, you've got those 22 markets interested just now. That will multiply.
Well, this is the thing. There are that many interested parties because people are beginning to realize, the money people are beginning to realize that long term, this could be viable for them. Yeah, it will require investment.
Yep.
Yes, there will be risk.
As long as everyone is in it for the like when we spoke to Paul Byrne, he talked about you're looking at a 10-year investment.
Totally.
And as long as people are realising that, it should be great. Great. Anyway, we'll be back with more chat after this.
Hey, I'm Brett Levis, and you're listening to the AFTN Soccer Show.
Hate to say I told you so.
It was coming up, but I couldn't. The song would have been gone way over.
The
That was
Hives.
the Hives, yeah.
Love that band. Seen them live a lot over in Scotland.
Somebody mentioned them in another podcast, and I go, I heard that song. I got to listen to this. And I stopped. I stopped.
Dig the albums,
I pulled over, stopped the podcast, searched for the Hive song, and played that right away.
One of their guitarists is deaf in one of his ears.
Yeah.
And one of the things
I wouldn't
that
doubt
he
it
does,
with the way they play.
Yeah, but one of the things he does when they're playing live is they do a thing where they stop mid-song and they all freeze, and then he puts his hand to his ear and he's getting the crowd to like cheer, but it's to his deaf ear he always does it, so he can't hear anyway. That
is funny.
That great band live. They've played here a couple of times and I've never been to see them here, but I should dig out their albums. But you're listening to the AFTN Soccer Show on CiTR Radio, and you know we love our music here on AFTN.
Yep.
Zach's staring at me. He likes his music. He doesn't like our music, but He likes
I'm
music.
okay with most of the stuff you.
Oh, okay.
It's not my favorite. Like I'm not going and downloading or buying. the
He
album.
might like this song.
Yes.
Because of the length. It's 3:14.
Yes. Austin.
No, not for,
That's 316.
That's 316. Oh, well.
Because of John 316.
Yeah, funny.
Oh, 2 seconds off. Sorry.
Austin will crop up in this part when we speak to Kekuta Manneh at the end of this section. But yeah, it's wavelength time, my favourite part of the show, and we're going back to 2005 this week. From The Others, an English band, from their self-titled album The Others. And this is a song about how football can bring people together and you can bond.
Unity.
And this is the lead singer, Dominic Masters, him and Pete Doherty, two drug addicts, yeah. But they bonded over drugs, but they also bonded over football. QPR fans. Do you know what I have in common with Pete Doherty? No, we're not heroin addicts. Well, he is. I'm not. Writing for fanzines. He used to write for a QPR fanzine. But anyway, this is The Others and Stan Balls.
When I first met you, you were wearing a tunic, eyes glazed over, stripped right back like a hollow. We talked for days in a room off Cambridge Heathrow, smoking bone in your back room. Why our sister bone? Why your sister bone? Why your sister bone? I'd stare at your eyes as you help the children. You're quoting Voltaire or Ginsberg to the dawn in your kitchen, sipping iced tea in the summer, Victoria Park, yeah. I'm playing at Istanbul, QPR, 1975. QPR, 1975. QPR, 1975. QPR, 1975. QPR, 1975. Then you helped me out. You gave me a break from the boredom. I quit my job, I took a gamble on a new life. I always remember staying with you in your hotel. I'll always owe you some gratitude, my friend. Gratitude, my friend. Gratitude, my friend. Gratitude, my friend. Gratitude, my friend.
The Others there. QPR 1975. All about Stan Balls there. And the friendship between Dominic Masters and Pete Doherty. Do you like that one? I was bouncing about the studio.
I noticed you were not dancing in front of the window where there's other people in another adjacent studio.
Yeah, I've never seen them before. They've never seen me. It would be an awkward first impression. I'll just wiggle my ass at them just now. But we've talked about Whitecaps. We've talked about Canadian PL. Let's move down the pecking order. Let's talk about MLS.
Do we have to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very quickly, we'll just go through the MLS week in review. The Caps drew down to 5th. 16 points from 13 games, 1.23 points per game,
which
keeps us sixth.
Yeah.
So we're still in the playoff places. We're roughly on course, though, for 42 points.
Which I think would have put us in the playoffs years ago.
Yes.
But not anymore.
No. But it might be close if
Yeah.
everyone else is dropping points left, right and centre. We might sneak in the back door, as
What-
folk like.
One of the teams I think we don't have to worry about at all is Colorado.
Oh, man.
You think so?
Yeah, I don't
So
think
bad.
I don't know.
But they've got a Scottish defender.
They got Tim Howard in goal.
Tim Howard
Yeah.
shockingly
He
poor.
looked bad.
The best thing I saw about this game was a Declan Wynn tackle on David
Oh, I
Villa.
never saw that.
Oh, he just took him out, but then the ball went to another NYC and Man City Light player, and he put it in.
Ah. It was 4-0.
It was a crunching tackle, though. You would have been proud.
4-0 in torrential rain. Not a great crowd at Yankee Stadium.
No, I heard
that
the
one.
crowd wasn't that bad. They were just hiding under
That would make
Yeah.
sense because
Terraces,
it was really heavy. But 4-0. Rapids looked bad. They were one down at the half after David Villa finished a horrendous clearance from Tim
Oh,
Howard. But
so
then
bad.
3 second-half goals did them in. We don't really need to talk about them. But Colorado, we will be playing them soon. Worrying because it's in Colorado.
Yeah, that's the problem. It's Colorado does have this home advantage of altitude.
But they're not.
And they're
it's
a poor
not,
team, and we don't do well against
It's
poor
not
teams.
that great of an advantage anymore, though. Like
True.
they will put out a win here
Not
and
if
there,
you've
but
got
they drop
Kiwis
points
playing
as
for
well.
them. Yeah.
There used to be an automatic 3 there. They used to be, yeah.
Yeah. Saturday, Portland Timbers FC. They got a good home win against LAFC. Game was on just before and kind of during the Caps game. Huge win for the Timbers as far as I'm concerned. They really seem to have turned it around now after a bit of a crappy start. Christian, if you can pronounce it that way because he's got an extra H thrown in there. Paredes opened the scoring in the 52nd minute.
A rebound goal.
Spilled free kick.
Yeah.
Did well to pounce on that.
But Carlos Vela came back.
Yeah, what a beautiful curler. Top corner, 60 minutes left.
He's already scored a number of those, and I think that won't be the last that people
No.
will see of that this season.
He's a quality guy.
Yeah, but
he really is a good addition.
the tie didn't last long, though.
No, the winner.
The winner.
Another sweet strike.
There's probably been 2 episodes before this where I can't remember how to say his name. Armenteros. Is that right?
That's
Yeah.
good enough for
Okay.
me.
Sam.
Sammy Armenteros.
Sammy Armadillo. 9 minutes to go. Lovely strike. Portland deserved the win, I thought. And they definitely seem to have turned it around.
Yeah. It was nice. The game was on Fox, so lots
Yeah.
of people got to watch it.
Someone else who's turned it around, I guess, Philadelphia Union. They were 4 goals.
I think it was the
against
opponents.
RSL.
I think it's the
Yeah.
opponents that they
RSL. The team that the Whitecaps beat and lost as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4-1. Philly were in control from start to finish there.
Fafa was the man.
Fafa Pico. He ran the show.
Is that the guy who Steve Zarquani used to rap about? Do you remember that MLS ad? Oh. There was a little MLS ad that used to come on when you go to MLS Live all the time.
Oh.
Years ago. Anyways.
Philly were 2 up at half-time. RSL did pull 1 back, but then there's 2 more from Philly in the last 16. RSL gave up 4 goals and Romando made 6 saves. It was like Andrew Hicks for TSS Rovers against Lane United on Monday night.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah. It could have been a lot worse for RSL if Romando hadn't been in form, but RSL looked poor.
No, a team that looked poor, but we kind of gave points away.
Yeah, we
to
made them look good. San Jose.
Oh, man.
Easy there. This is the time we usually start, Zach.
I know, sorry.
He's just bored with the thought of San Jose.
Yeah, okay.
No, it's so bad.
Yeah.
San Jose comes here, takes a point, goes home to DC.
4 points on the road in 2 games.
To DC United. Now, I think
they used all their luck up in that game.
Well, DC I think had the previous week off or something, but
Yeah.
so they were more rested. But man,
But still,
they've been
coming
bad
to
this year.
They were 3 up by the 37th minute.
Yeah.
Even Darren Matic scored.
Yeah.
I'm so looking forward to this Matic-Rooney partnership. It's like the dream partnership you dreamt about playing FIFA all those years ago.
And the thing is, they didn't really sell their opponents that much. They didn't put the opponents over because they were basically saying, 4 points they got on the road doesn't mean squadouche when you're losing to DC United at home.
Yeah.
So basically, they're running down their opponents
Yeah.
after losing to them.
I mean, they spoke on Wednesday about the importance of taking something at home now to DC, or it was pointless taking all this on the road, and they didn't do it. So great results for the Caps, those 2.
Another good one.
Kind of a good result.
I think so.
I don't know, I kind of just want KC to run away with it now, because
Oh.
then you've got one team running away with it and beating everyone. Minnesota, The Minis won. Sporting Kansas City. The Whitecaps Thrashers won. Two teams, of course, that have beaten the Whitecaps in very different circumstances. Surprising 2 points dropped for me by the conference leaders.
Especially because they took the lead.
Yeah, well, Kerry Shelton had them ahead in 8 minutes. But before that, Minnesota, Christian Ramirez had a tap-in, but it was ruled out for offside. I think wrongly, because I think it came off Matt Beasler.
But was this the same situation where the whistle was blown before it happened, or
no? So there's been some discussion over this because it happened in another match previously about
whether it's a directed one or
yeah. It basically, for those in Canadian football circles, it's the Atiba goal against the U.S. in the Gold Cup a number of years ago, where Gucheneu, I think it was, goes up and he heads the ball backwards to Atiba. Now Atiba's offside, but he intentionally headed the ball in that direction. And they called him offside, and he shouldn't have been. There was a goal. I can't remember which team it was.
This week or something.
No, it was like a week. It was like a week or two.
Yeah, yeah.
And same thing. They called it back because they said it wasn't his intent. It was more of a deflection than like having possession or an intentional playback. But
and they were comparing it to the other goal where I think it was the San Jose where he actually passed it backwards.
Right. I think if it comes off a defender, and you've been offside, it's the defender's made a mistake, so it should negate it. But Darwin Quintero. He's a great... How's he at Minnesota? For all the good teams he could have joined, Minnesota get him.
Because they paid for him.
Well, there is that. I mean, he'd have been fantastic here, but obviously we were never going to pay that money.
I think he's. They've assured him that he will get a quick trip out before the winter hits in Minnesota, so he doesn't have to spend the winters there.
Yeah, he levelled for the Loons with in the 20th minute rather. Zeus should have won it. Hit the post with 30 minutes to go with a header for KC, but that's a big, surprising 2 points dropped. I felt for KC there. Now great win for Houston.
For sure. Oh, yeah, the next game, that was the one result that the Vancouver Whitecaps hurt them a little bit, with Houston getting 3 points.
3-2 Houston, in a very depleted Chicago Fire, though. Fast start, 3 goals in the first 16. Kyoto again puts Houston ahead in 4. Chicago hit back with 2 and 2 in the 14th and 16th. Then second half, Albert Ellis again, this great guy. Second half brace, penalty in the 56th, and then breaks away to score the winner 16 minutes for time. Chippy game though, 7 bookings.
Wow.
Chicago's really, they traded away David Accam. They're really lacking someone with pace.
Well, and the injuries have hit, and I can't remember someone else got injured now to add to their injured list. It was like a key guy. But
it's Polster. I think Matt Polster.
That was it.
Yeah.
Houston now move to within 1 point of the Whitecaps, but they've got 3 games in hand.
Yeah.
That's not good. But they're 6th, we're 5th.
But maybe all those 3 games are on the road.
Yeah, maybe they'll lose all 3.
Chicago reminds me
points in your back pocket.
Chicago, it reminds me of Seattle a little bit, where they've lost some with pace to stretch the opponent to allow their creative players space to do stuff.
Yeah.
Because they have people with the abilities, but they're not finding. I don't think they're finding the space to do the work.
There's still 1 game to go, as you alluded to earlier. On Monday, I guess for the holiday, Montreal are hosting the LA Galaxy. Really could do with a Montreal win there. Big time could do with a Montreal win, because you look at the standings. If you look at the points per game, which obviously I'm obsessed and love, and who is below us, we're 6th in points per game. There's 5 teams below us. We can, or we should at least, finish above RSL, Minnesota, San Jose, and Colorado. You should hope.
Yes, those 4 teams for sure.
So if we take those
easy
4
wins.
out.
Easy wins.
Seattle and LA are the only 2 below us that I would be worried about in points per game. Seattle are 9th in points per game. They're 11th in the standings. 8 points, 8 behind the Caps, but they have 4 games in hand. LA, 10 from 10, 6 behind the Caps with 3 in hand, including this one on Monday. They're 9th in the standings and points per game. I feel both of them will, when the season gets down to the tough bit in August, September, October, that's the 2 teams I expect to rise.
Yeah. Remy Gard, I think, needs a win too. Are they like 3 and 8 or something like that? They're really poor
for Montreal.
Yeah. Ziggy Schmidt.
No,
We talked about him needing a win. Ziggy Schmidt needs a win.
Have you heard anything about and I don't know anything about this, I'm just asking, did they move this game to Olympic Stadium at all, or are they playing it at...
because it's Latin?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't...
Because they've done that in the past.
Their attendance is really bad.
I know, but they've done it in the past where there's a big player coming in and they move it to Olympic Stadium. I think they did it... I can't remember
I think
it was.
they'd be happy to play on grass, and they'd be happy to fill Stade Saputo right now. I could be wrong, but that's my impression.
I think they should be able to if Zlatan's there.
You talk about games in hand, all that. How is it that the Flounders have a bye again this weekend? They had all these games changed for the Champions League.
Someone asked me why the Whitecaps haven't had a bye week, so I inquired about that, and the reason is they have to submit when their stadiums are available.
Right, that's part of it.
And they got to get as many games as possible now because the lines are coming.
But they also wanted quite a balanced schedule.
Yeah.
So by not having a bye, they get to have home away, as opposed to a swath of home games and a swath of away games.
That kind of works.
So I actually like that, and I think that's been the sensible thing, because there's nothing worse than hitting your stride and then having a couple of weeks off.
And that's what that's what happened to them. I think last year or the year, I can't remember what year it was, but they were hitting their stride, like you said. Now it wasn't weeks off, but they had a whole bunch of road games in a row, and they couldn't get anything on.
Do good sometimes coming back from breaks as well. Just it kind of kills us.
Speaking of Flounders for a moment, your favorite guy, Will Bruin?
Yeah.
He injured one of his fins.
Yeah.
He's going to be flopping around for the next few weeks. Or do you know how long he's out?
No, but it stops us signing him.
He was going to be the number 10.
He's not. He's a number 9.
I know that. That was the joke.
If you look at the teams that are above us right now, I think Houston is realistically, and this is still in points per game, Houston's the only team that realistically I could see us overtaking.
Yeah.
It just feels like a long, long slog ahead now.
Well, I think that's the MLS season overall every year.
The good thing about MLS, though, is you string a few results together.
You can
and
turn it around.
Easily climb the table, but you string some crappy results
together.
Look
at the Lumberjacks.
Yeah.
The Lumberjacks are now, they've won like 3-4 games in a row now.
Because Seattle and them were in the bottom. Seattle hasn't put it together, but Portland has, and that's why they're on top. Or near the top.
If Ziggy loses tomorrow in Montreal, the pressure on him is massive. And it's maybe hard to see if he can hang on.
They might not even keep him after the game. Save 2 seats for the way back.
Now, see, I wasn't going to make any size jokes about Ziggy Schmidt.
I can.
I got a tweet from someone saying, "You're fattest," and I was like, "No, I'm not. Ziggy Schmidt's fattest."
No, yeah, he is. But I can make that joke.
Another Jimmy Carr joke there, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so
as an obese person,
you don't need to buy a ticket for the show. Just still do.
As someone who's obese, I find these jokes
fattest.
So, New England obviously coming up. Obviously, the full preview podcast will come on the podcast.
They'll cover that.
But what do you guys?
Revolution are bringing the Crafts private plane for this one.
They're chartering.
This is the game they're going to pick.
They're flying the residency teams out as well to play the residency kids.
Oh, cool. So they're going to do an exhibition.
Yes, that's quite nice actually, having everyone together on a private plane.
Which is funny because the Crafts don't spend a lot of money.
Yeah, they don't spend a lot of money. So at least that was the rumour that was doing around. So if that isn't true, we'll blame her because she told me that.
She's listening right now saying, "Why'd you mention my name?"
But talking of her, that was why I mentioned her name. Her and myself got a chance to speak with Kekuta Manneh last week at training, but we had such a busy show last week that I bumped Kekuta. But we'll bring that to you now. It's an interesting chat. Just talking about his time in Pachuca. It's not gone great for him so far. We'll talk about that after it. And also, why was he back in Vancouver? And just about the playoff run with Columbus last year. So let's play that for you now.
Just visiting, guys. I thought holidays. I thought I would come in, visit my friends and catch up with people. Some of my friends.
So how is everything with Pachuca in your first season?
It wasn't the greatest. We struggled as a team, and me individually getting minutes. But it was fun. It was good. The end is good learning curve. The altitude was a big factor for me. I couldn't, get adjusted to that quickly, and so it took me a while to, feel comfortable. And by the time we know the season is over, and we have to get ready for the next tournament. But the first tournament was in, as a whole, for the whole group, it wasn't good enough because we didn't make playoffs.
How did the opportunity to sign with Pachuca? How did that come about?
I mean, I've known from just people around. They've been interested for a long time, and then it came to that time. I was free, and I had to make a decision, and I had a few teams interested, but Pachuca was the one that stood out for me the most. And it was very interesting. We looked at that, and a couple of MLS other Liga MX teams were interested, but Pachuca was just an opportunity, I couldn't pass up. So when they came in, they saw the interest, and it was a no-brainer. It was like, when I experienced Mexican League, I've always been an admirer of it, always watched it. So I thought I would see and continue developing my game.
Growing up in Texas, I think you speak Spanish pretty well?
Not me necessarily, but I know a few words before I went there. But it's different, speaking it day in, day out, and just, messing about with it. It's not the same, but when I came in, I started taking Spanish classes. And now I can hold a conversation with a few people.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
so what did Diego Alonso, the coach, when he was there, what did he say about your role, or what did he expected from you there?
It's just it's very simple and plain. He likes they like to play 1v1 all over the park, and you have a job as a winger, so just take the ball and run on the full-back and put balls in the box, crosses, take shots, and that was the message to the whole team. And how we play is get the ball to the wingers as quickly as possible, and then create 1v1 situations for them to be able to do that, because they like running in the box and numbers in the box. That's how we played, and that was the message. It was very simple. It was he didn't complicate it at all. That was the game.
So with him not coming back, what does your future look like with Pachuca?
I have no idea. I guess go back for preseason and see who comes back, and hopefully we do better than we did this tournament. But we don't know. We all have to report back for preseason next month, I think. Yeah, and hopefully we'll see. It's a fresh start for everyone, I think, and hopefully, and then we'll go from there.
With you being in Hidalgo, not too far from Texas, how often is your family able to come down, or how often do you see them?
Actually, I haven't seen them in that 4 months because they planned a couple of trips and it didn't pan out. My dad just got a new job in Houston, and so it's been a bit of a traveling for them between Austin and Houston. So they haven't been able to make it, but I think they already booked their flight for July. They come and catch a couple of games, hopefully. So it'll be nice for them to see, how I'm living over there, and see the culture and everything down there. It's pretty nice.
What about your good friend Eric Hurtado? Have you been in touch? Has he been down to see you yet?
No, he hasn't. Hopefully maybe during the off season, or I don't know if they're having a World Cup break or something. I've been trying to convince him to come, him and Sam and Pa, to come and visit the town. I told them a lot about it. It's a cool town, and they all love food, so it's always a good idea. But yeah, they're coming. Eric said he will come, and Sam said he will come after his season, so hopefully we can all get together at the same time and sort them around the city.
Last time I spoke to you, I was in the locker room after the game at BC Place, and we were joking about the MLS Cup final, and you were really confident Columbus were going to get in it. Looking back at that game against Toronto, you certainly had opportunities to put them away. Does it feel like a missed opportunity?
I think so. I think it was a big one. I finally thought, here we'll go to the MLS Cup final. It's just the way Columbus do things, and just the team and the structure and just understanding of the game, how they want to play the game, preparing the week in, week out, and just the quality. I thought, there was no team that could stop us. We were feeling confident. We had good runs throughout the season, and then everybody felt confident. Came in, past Atlanta, past New York. And we thought it was going to be the same, and we were very unlucky. I thought we got everything right, but just couldn't take our chances. We matched them physically and tactically, technically, but split seconds and just taking their chances. Atiro came in, take his chance. That was a difference for us. But I felt like we dominated the game, and we had quite a bit of chances that we could have in a different game. We would have won that game.
And obviously you were in Columbus when all the news broke that they might be moving to Austin. Funnily enough,
How did you feel as a player being part of all that? And you grew up in Austin.
Yeah.
What would it mean to Austin to have an MLS team?
It would be unbelievable. It would be amazing. The team has been crying for an MLS team for a long time. It's just some youth programs is unbelievable. It's massive. It's huge. So having all of that structure over there, and adding an MLS team to that, sky's still made for the city. I think the city deserves something for sure. And the MLS team would be perfect for them. Everybody I talk to is really excited about the opportunity. Hopefully to have that in move to Austin. It's a bit of a weird situation to be in because you never want to take away a team from a city. Especially an original team for MLS. But if that's going to be good for the franchise, and I don't think there's any other better place than Austin. I think they definitely deserve the team.
That's great. Thanks so much. Keep it and good luck.
Scooter! That was for all the Transcendence fans that are still listening to us. That was Scooter. That was the artist, the European techno guy, Scooter. Anyway, that was the other Scooter, Kekuta Manneh, chatting to myself and Har last week. I think he'd love to come back to Vancouver. I think he probably regrets moving on. I don't know, he maybe didn't have a lot of say in it, and he knows why, but
I don't think it was a matter of him asking to leave.
No.
He didn't ask to leave, but
No.
his performances and his lack of preparation of the performances, that's what
would it work for him to come back? Should he come back, or is the things that caused him to get shipped out before still there?
The thing is I think if he's learned his lesson and if he's thinking he wants to come back, I think he's obviously identified what the issue was, and maybe he's.
But has he? Because in Pachuca, 8 minutes he's played for Pachuca.
Okay, he went to Columbus. He barely played because the coach there was saying you're not in shape.
Yep, he wasn't in the fitness he expected.
Maybe the Mexican coach for the club didn't feel like he was in shape. So maybe he's heard it from 3 coaches. He's identified what the issue is.
I think there definitely is a sense of you don't realize how good you have it somewhere until you're gone.
Yeah. That happens a lot, I think, with players that leave here. And maybe that also raises a question which has been said, do the players have it too cushy here?
No, I'm not thinking about the off-field stuff. I'm thinking more from, people will probably disagree with this, but more from the mentoring and stuff he was getting, like in his role in the team, that the opportunities offered to him, I think, is more.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you talk to him, hey Kekuta, your time in Vancouver, you leave, whatever. Is there anything you would change? Is there anything you would do differently about your time here? I would hope he would say, yeah, I made some mistakes. I got some things wrong, but I learned from it.
Yeah, maybe buy an alarm clock would be one of them.
Now his rights, like you said, were owned by Columbus.
Yes.
And they are moving possibly to Austin, where he is kind of from.
Talked about that.
It's going to be like he'll come there. Is he going to leave Austin to come to Vancouver?
I was gonna say to him, would you want to go back and play in Austin for the Crew? The Austin Crew, I imagine they're going to be called.
No,
but I thought
Austin Aztec.
I don't want to put him on the spot because he'll just get loads of abuse from Columbus fans. I thought that wasn't fair. But next time we see him, we'll ask him that. Anyway, we'll be back with more after this.
I'm David Edgar, and you're listening to the AFTN Soccer Show.
Bartek. That's what that song was called.
Hannah, I don't know how to pronounce the last name.
That's why I threw that to you.
Damn it, you set me up. No, but it's Canadian. It's Canadian artist. Good song. I like it.
Yeah. Now, we were talking about the Canadian Premier League in part 3, and we've got a tweet I want to read from Greg Petrie at Our Dumb World. He says, I continue to be highly sceptical of the long-term viability of the Canadian Premier League. Owners in all sports say they're in it for the long haul until the bills start to really come in. I think there's a lot of fans and a bit of a bubble in this. It's a fair thing because it is easy to say you're in it in the long haul until you maybe start to see some losses.
Listen, if they're smart business people, they're going to realize there is a bubble, but they're going to want to keep it once it drops down. They want to keep it at that level. I think they understand that it is going to drop a little, and then they just slowly rise it. Yeah.
So you get out before the bubble burst. Like all this, you've heard all these like crazy rumors?
No.
Oh, about like here in Vancouver with the MLS side.
Oh, yes.
All those crazy
rumors
really,
that the Caps might be up for sale.
Which really shows their lack of ambition. If that's really what they want to do, if they really want to sell and move, and then keep the name and move into CPL, it really shows their true colors.
That was one rumor we've heard.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if that's true. That's
a far-fetched rumor. I personally feel, but
then the thing is, you start hearing it from multiple places. That's when it starts to be like, wait, what?
But then you do wonder where the original one came from. But
no, I called it when we talked about it before that eventually the Whitecaps TFC in Montreal would be in the CPL.
I genuinely have no issue with that, and I know a lot of people do.
I do down the road because it's your national league, and once the league establishes itself and moves forward.
Yeah, but to me, the Whitecaps are my club.
Yeah, no problem with that.
They've been the club that I've had since I came here.
They're your local club. That's fine. Sorry to go on that tangent.
Yeah,
it's a long weekend.
Yeah, it's a long weekend. It's a long show. We're doing a 3-hour AFTN Soccer Show tonight. We hadn't planned it, but we're doing a 3-hour.
And for once, the Whitecaps are playing on Saturday at home, so the preview show will probably come out on Thursday. So you have 4 days to listen to this.
Yeah, 3 hours.
Break it up.
Okay, do all my Jimmy Carr jokes now because we're after 11
No, please.
Right, let's talk some TSS. The Rovers got their PDL season off to a mixed start this week, but Monday night they were hammered. No other word for it. 4-1. They got beat by Lane United.
They was drinking before the match.
Yeah, it looked like they were. Some of the defending certainly looked like they were.
But it was early on. It was, I think, first game. You got a brand new team. How many friendlies the preseason?
They played 2.
Yeah,
they kept 2 clean sheets. They beat UBC Thunderbirds and they beat Vancouver United PCSL team.
So, but that's still not enough to. Bring the team.
What was
together.
Lane's preseason?
They beat someone called Starfire.
Oh, you know what that is?
Well, it's not. It's not.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not.
Is it a team that plays out of Starfire?
It's Starfire with a PH and 2 R's.
Oh, jeez.
Down in Oregon. They beat them 8-2. Portland Timbers played them as well and beat them 5-2 or something. But yeah, TSS Rovers didn't get a great start on Monday.
First game, it's early.
A bunch of strangers looked like they didn't know each other.
But they turned it around.
They turned it around big time on Friday night. If
Against
you
a very
haven't
good
seen
team.
this, watch the YouTube stream.
I watched it.
Great commentators, I felt. You disagree with that?
Well, to be honest,
Boy, the hesitation just tells it all.
I
You
know.
don't have to go any further there.
No, I had it on mute because we were.
You don't like Gideon.
No.
Oh, jeez.
No, I had it on mute because
because
we were doing something as a family, or I was doing something with my kids or something. I forgot
Lego?
what we were doing. Yeah, I think Lego or board game or something.
Yeah. But anyway, back to TSS Rovers. They did win in some style. They went behind on Friday night to Portland Timbers.
And the guy that was missing made a big difference in that first game.
Nick Soulsma missed the first game. For being an ex-TFC guy that we didn't like when he played for TFC, he has still got it. Obviously, it's PDL level, but
he's
he touches. He organises on the pitch. He speaks to the guys. His movement off the ball. That's the difference between a professional player and these guys that want to be pros. Having someone like him involved with his team is really going to raise these guys' level. And I hope there's guys like that involved in the Canadian PL, like in all seriousness.
Does he have his Canadian PR card now, or how does he qualify?
Yeah, he's Canadian PR card, but he's also applying for citizenship, so he's in the process for that.
So he qualifies for the...
Yeah, he qualifies. Second goal was by a Ukrainian guy. Canadians for Canadians. Ukrainian sounds like Canadian. We do eat a lot of pierogies here. That might be Polish, I don't know. But anyway, he's a Canadian PR guy as well. Danilo Shmichenko.
Yeah.
He's played at high level under 21s in Ukraine, and again, you see the difference. And then hopefully this is what the Canadian PL is going to do. It's going to get when you see our Canadian guys going up against guys from the top American guys or guys from overseas, because a lot of these teams have a lot of Hispanic players, some from Mexico, some from Spain. The difference in skill and quality compared to some of our Canadian guys, it's vast. hopefully the Canadian Premier League can then rise these levels up a little bit.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's there for, to do.
Yeah.
It's going to bring these players more opportunity to play, and because you can't just train all the time.
No,
you need to play proper games. And whatever skill level you're playing against, that will get you to that next level. I hope
we do get to see some of these older guys like Sulzma Style, Nick Ledgerwood that's at Calgary Foothills just now.
Well,
David Edgar.
He signed as a player coach for the CPL side.
Yeah. So, I mean, David Edgar as well is another one who his influence on young Canadian guys in a Canadian PL team would be fantastic.
Yeah, but I think right now he's with Nashville, and I think he'll get it back to MLS next year.
True. But hopefully some of these guys do want to come back and share their knowledge and experience. It's the only way the game's going to grow.
Yeah. And they always need something to do after they're playing these too.
Yeah. So we're going to bring you a new section on the show now. I had hoped to kick this section off with Jordan Harvey, but we never got a chance to ask him this when he came up. So we're going to kick it off instead with Jordan Much. This is all about TV, and we're going to call this section TV OD.
TVOD, TVOD, TVOD.
What would you say is your favourite TV show at the moment? What is something that you don't want to miss every week?
I'm watching Homeland at the minute. The new season, I think it's season 7 now, so I've watched all of that, and I think it's 5 episodes in, so every Sunday I get the iTunes thing through on my phone, and it's the new episode, so I always Sunday or Monday I decide when I've got enough time to watch it, and sit down and enjoy it.
And what's your all-time favourite TV show? Like, what would you like to go back and revisit again? You maybe got DVDs or whatever off.
Oh, that's a good question. There's some good ones, but Game of Thrones is. I probably watched that about 3 or 4 times over, and they've got a lot of seasons in that, so that's up there with my best for sure.
And is there a guilty pleasure you've got TV-wise that you probably shouldn't watch but you like watching? Any reality shows you and your wife might watch or something?
I don't even want to go there with some of the reality TV shows that she wants to watch, because I don't do any really of that. My Game of Thrones, that's it. Yeah, and it comes out next year. A year in March, I think it comes out.
I know,
so
the wait's horrible.
Yeah, so it's incredible. It's going to be emotional when it finishes.
That's great. Thank you so much for your time today, John.
Nice.
Cheers.
TVOD. I don't need a TV screen. I just stick the aerial into my skin and let the signal run through my veins. TVOD.
Jordan Much, TV overdose, TVOD. Did you like the music?
Yeah, it's not bad.
It was interesting.
It's from late 70s, The Normal.
Oh, excellent name.
Mm-hmm. We've got Eric Hurtado coming up next in that section. I agree with Jordan Much, though. It's going to be quite emotional when Game of Thrones finishes.
Yeah.
When you've invested so much. I hope it's better than Lost. I was so disappointed with the ending of Lost.
Oh, don't worry. I haven't seen the ending of that.
Really?
I will never watch it, but
okay.
In case I ever do.
I don't mind it as much. Like I think people overanalyze shows too much. And they just don't want it to be the way that they... Just because it's not the way they want it, they get so disappointed. But that's the way the creators wanted it to end.
But at least they can wrap it up. The thing that really annoys me is we've watched 4 seasons of Last Man on Earth. And then the 4th season's just finished on an amazing cliffhanger. And then Fox have cancelled it.
Yeah, that's always happens. Always happens.
Not going to get closure. It was like Pushing Daisies. I never got closure in that.
Oh, I love Pushing Daisies. Pushing Daisies was a fantastic show. Really good. You never watched it?
No, this hour's all about TV.
It was about somebody that can bring somebody back to life.
Yeah, just by touching them.
By touching them.
Animals as well and
stuff. Then if they touched them again, they were done.
Yeah, then they were dead. Totally gone.
So the whole thing was he pushed somebody he actually was in love with.
Yes,
made him alive,
back.
But then couldn't touch her again.
He had to wear gloves and stuff when they cuddled.
Like Rogue in X-Men.
Yeah. That was a fantastic show. Caitlin and me have kind of thought, if there's any shows that's a bit quirky that we like, we know not to get too invested in it because it's going to get cancelled.
Yeah, I've had that happen with a couple shows in the past.
That's why you can always watch those Netflix shows because they already have all the episodes done and they're done.
They invest
so
in
you
it.
don't have to worry about it.
That's why he was watching Homeland. On Netflix,
that's why it's good to binge as well because you know what you're getting.
Yeah.
Like I'm way behind in some shows. Right? Grimm. I have 4 seasons of Grimm to catch up.
I just caught up on Black Lightning.
That's very grim.
Yes.
I just caught up on Black Lightning. It's a comic book show. It's really good.
Oh.
Because folk keep saying,
it's a very solid show.
Have I got Netflix? And the answer is no.
Yeah.
Because I have so much stuff to catch up on.
Yeah, there's no point of getting Netflix.
No.
Yeah.
I should ask Bernie Habini what Australian shows he's watching because I've been watching a few of those of late. Harrow, really recommend that.
Yeah.
It's about a pathologist with a dark secret.
I recommend, if you're into superhero shows, one of the craziest shows out there is called Legion. It's on FX.
Is that DC?
No, it's X-Men.
Oh, it's Marvel.
It's basically Professor X's kid, and he is like a head case.
I saw the preview.
Total head case, and the show is just out there. Like it's completely out there. You don't expect what you see, and things are going all over the place.
Did he get renewed, or is it on Netflix?
It's on second season's out right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, I know you haven't tuned in to listen to football talk, but we are in hour 3 of the AFTN Soccer Show.
And you haven't turned in to listen to football talk?
You have.
We're almost done. We're almost there. We're almost there.
We're almost there. We're going to get up to midnight.
Hang in there.
I told my wife I'd be home by 11:30, but anyway, it's time now for BC Soccer Web headlines. BC Soccer Web Headlines is brought to you in partnership with bcsoccerweb.com, your one-stop site for local, national and international news, stories, features and links. Make it part of your daily routine, morning and night, bcsoccerweb.com. What's been catching your eye in the site this week, Steve?
A couple things. First of all, we have... you remember that the whole league that was coming up, and they were going to put that league together with the super league, basically with all the.
I thought you meant the Canadian Premier League.
The World Club Cup once every 4 years.
Yeah. So the FIFA president has gotten some help, some backing from the club. Is kind of obviously Real Madrid. They're looking for money, obviously. But UEFA. Overall is raising doubts because they're talking about they don't like the way it's getting together. It's like there's a deadline, a quick deadline, and they're not getting the proper info of what's going on with it. So that they're finding it sketchy.
Also, they want to control a lot of the money themselves, so they're a little bit worried that they're giving their rights and stuff.
Take away from Champions League, yeah.
A couple follow-ups as well we have to talk about. Guerrero for Peru, and he lost his thing.
Chris Guerrero that plays for TSS?
No. I can't remember. It was
Paulo Guerrero.
Paulo Guerrero, thank you. It's
Jose Paulo Guerrero.
It's been extended his ban to basically 14 months. I think they extended, which takes him completely out of the World Cup.
Yeah.
Some new stuff that we have
that didn't result in Jordi Reyna making the Peru squad like it did in the qualifying.
A World Cup referee from Saudi Arabia has been banned now in a match fixing case. Now. Officially, nothing's happened where he did take money. The reason he was banned was he used WhatsApp to ask a team official for money to help him for the win, like to help the team to win the game. So he used WhatsApp basically giving the evidence, and the official went to the Saudi Arabia, obviously Football Federation or whatever.
Why would you use what? I mean, Twatface is the app to use for that.
Well, you know what you do? You go in person, so they don't have any evidence.
Well, that as well, yeah.
So Sporting Lisbon had some angry fans invade their practice facility.
Yeah.
About 50 people.
Angry's one word for them.
Don't mess with the Ultra.
No. Yeah, they basically started attacking players, staff, and trashing the offices. One of the players that the pictures were displayed was former, I think it was from Bundesliga. He played there. Didn't he?
Bastos?
Yeah. He played there.
Well, Freddie Montero was involved as well. He had a few scrapes and scratches from it.
So I don't know what I haven't seen a follow up on it. What's going on? Obviously, I think they did detain about 21 people afterwards, but no updates on that.
Yeah, why did they attack them against?
Because they're not very good.
Right. Yeah.
Because they finished third.
Yeah, which I think takes them out of Champions League if I'm not mistaken.
We finished third last year.
Well, there's some angry people here too.
Just saying.
Not the same extent. Roy Donovan, a player from A-League, Australia, he was in the A-League Grand Final between Newcastle and Melbourne. He plays for Newcastle. They lost 1-0. The reason why he's in the news is he's been handed a 10-match suspension.
You told me about this.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I was going to send you guys the video. I didn't get a chance. But basically, what happened was it was it was in injury time. I think 3rd minute in, and there was a ball sent into the box. The ball was going. Basically, the keeper was grabbing it in his hands right in front of his face. What Roy Donovan decided to do was send his foot studs up into his face, and basically they called it a ninja kick into his face. It's essentially long tan, but a little higher into the face area. So
Roy O'Donovan
completely knocked the goalie out. He was able to gain and finish the game, but they sent him off right away, and it was a 10-match suspension. It took 2-3 days to.
That was the controversial game we talked about last week, where VAR was not working.
Yeah. Well, they didn't need VAR for that one.
Yeah.
I think they had the marks on his face.
Yeah. The NASL's federal antitrust lawsuit against USSF and MLS is proceeding. Essentially, the reason why this is news is because the USSF and MLS are not filing a motion to dismiss, which you think they would, but I think what looking to do is they're looking to put this in court, waste NASL's time, and then finally get a definitive answer that they are not going to be able to win this case. And I think they just want to put this through so to put it to bed, because if they keep getting dismissals, they're just going to go to another court and try to get it again. So they're just going to waste every time. So I think that's what they're trying to do. It seems like it to me.
Yeah, that makes total. I hadn't actually thought.
Nobody's mentioned that, but that's my idea.
Yeah, now that you've said that makes total sense.
Yeah. Cost for Minnesota United Stadium, Alliance Field, is rising. Essentially, it was going to start off at $150 million for the cost of the stadium. It raised to $200. Now it's up to $250. So they've gone over basically by $100 million.
The Alliance Field, yeah. There's never been like a situation like here where a stadium costs more than it was supposed to, right? That would never happen.
No. What did the Waterfront Stadium end up costing in the end?
What happened with that roof here?
Oh, yeah. That
was supposed to be a few bucks, and then it was like...
We have a roof?
The sales cost quite a bit, too.
The People's Stadium.
Another one, first of all, this is an article about the new Canadian jersey. What do you guys think it was released this week, sorry. What did you guys thoughts of it if you saw it?
It was all right. I didn't think it was anything special.
I concur.
But there was like didn't they have the V shape, and then there was Maple Leafs right in the just below the neck? Did you notice that? Okay, I guess nobody knows that. I guess it wasn't that special.
I didn't get a big dramatic thing telling me that the red was for the colour of the whatever.
No press release.
The only picture of it, like the only picture I've seen of it, is not detailed the whole thing. It's like people standing wearing it. That's why. That's why I didn't think it was anything special.
But maybe we'll see a little bit better down the road. Last one we have here is from the World Cup 2026. The task force ruling on the Morocco 2026 eligibility is expected to around the end of May. They have the May 29th deadline. This is the one that essentially is saying, is this country capable of hosting the World Cup before it gets to a vote? And obviously Morocco is still arguing about some of these criteria. And another thing they're arguing about is they're asking FIFA to ban Samoa, Guam, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands from voting because they've been governed by the U.S. But FIFA is kind of turning a blind eye to them about that. Another issue they have is apparently...
Yeah, this is an interesting one.
Nigeria, who we talked about, I think, a couple of episodes ago.
Yeah, I got an email from a guy that was going to give me money.
No, not that, but the Trump...
Yeah,
Trump's
he's basically
threatening them.
Yeah.
And he said that with the Nigerian president there, or prime minister. He was there. So it looks like Nigeria and South Africa... sounds like that they're planning to break and vote for United 2026, and Morocco, the Confederation of African Football President Ahmad is trying to get them to kind of African teams to countries to kind of get together and trying to show united front.
Once two break ranks, you have to think others will be like, oh, I don't want to have sanctions from the US
exactly.
or lose trade deals and.
So I guess
Trump's actually been very clever.
Tweets worked.
Yeah.
So that is it.
Interesting week.
Yeah.
There was a couple other fun ones in there.
Well, because we ran so over. If you want to talk about it, we can bring it up.
Well, I just found it interesting that Platini came out and said, that
one.
When we were organizing the World Cup in '98 in France, we made sure that Brazil and France were not on the same side of the bracket because we wanted Brazil, France in the
But
final.
I don't know how they arranged that because it is like the ball pull.
Yeah,
there's an easy way. Those balls, you just put a dent in,
or you make it colder.
One's cold, one's
yeah,
hot.
I've heard about that. Like, so I didn't bring it up because nobody really mentioned of how it could get done, and maybe it was just off the cuff. Nobody knows. I didn't know the context of how he said it.
It was always the old joke in Scotland that that's how Celtic and Rangers got kept apart in draws. Like you had different temperature balls or whatever, and But that is it for this week's show. Sorry, it's only 2.5 hours.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Thanks for listening, as always. We'll be back probably Thursday with the preview podcast. Joe, Nick and Gideon, the trifecta will return.
That's good.
So watch out for that.
I swear to God, we can't have him watching comedians before he comes in.
Hey, you didn't mention your shirt this whole time.
Yeah, you said us not to mention it.
Yeah, you're like, don't mention it. I was waiting for you to...
Oh, because I played it. I was going to play the Celine Dion song, but then because she's on the soundtrack for Deadpool. I'm wearing a Deadpool t-shirt.
Oh, that's why you've got a long face.
And I just wanted to make a general comment to parents: don't take your kids to Deadpool. Whatever you do, it's like a Jimmy Carr concert.
Or recommended then?
Not for kids though.
Oh, okay. There was somebody there with a baby.
Well, the baby, I don't.
A baby who can't understand what's being said.
Yeah,
still. Who takes a baby to a comedy show?
Did he heckle or did he?
No, he didn't see the baby. I just saw her breastfeeding afterwards. That is it for this week's show. Just before we go, let everyone know where they can find you online.
You can find me on Twitter at WhitecapsBeat.
For me, it's at Zachary AM, and I'm part of the Movement Curve Collective.
I'm Michael McCall. You can find me on Twitter at AFTN Canada. Read our stuff on aftn.ca away from the numbers. Give us a follow on Instagram at AFTN Soccer. We'll be back next week. Usual time for 11 o'clock. Until then, thanks for listening. Take care. And Mon the Caps.
Going to your first match is an experience you never forget. The atmosphere of what's going on around the pitch looks beautiful, and you always look and go, wow, I'd love to play here one day. If you get the bug, it's going to stay with you for life.
10 minutes left. Yeah, but there's still some time. It's not the final score. We need more than the numbers we're given. Show us you live and breathe the game. You're more than a name. That's what we came for. We can bring you more than the score. Every story. Let's take this thing off of the field into the real world, away from the numbers, away from the numbers.